Hello and welcome back to Hearthstone. My name's Lumin and right now it's time for the big Mean Streets of Gadgetzan card review. Quite excited about this. I'm going to be starting with the neutral cards, then I'll move on to the crime families or gangs, and then the class cards at the end. I'll put some timestamps below so that you can skip to the starts of certain parts of the video, but I'm not going to put timestamps there for every single card. That would be crazy. Now, these are not going to be in any special order or anything like that. All I've got is common to rare to epic to legendary. They're going to be completely random in those categories. So like it's not by size or alphabetical or anything like that. Okay, just putting that out there. Finally, the last disclaimer. I'm not a professional gamer. Okay, so I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to predict how strong most of these cards will be. I might try, but I'll probably be wrong. I think for the most part, I'll be going on, personal preference and the fun factor of the cards. That's about it. Okay, let's jump straight in. First card, Blowgill Sniper. 2 mana, 2/1 Murloc, Battlecry, deal 1 damage. I like this card. I just like this card. I like Battlecry, deal 1 damage. That's just awesome. I don't know why. I mean, there's a 3 mana. Is it an Ironforge Rifleman that has Battlecry deal 1 damage? Isn't there? And he costs 3 mana, not 2. He's at 2/2, though. This is better. This is just straight up better. And it's a Murloc, so it gets buffed by the Murlocs. I don't know, I like this card. If I make a Murloc deck, I'll put this card in my Murloc deck. Just because. It's a cool Murloc. It allows you to maybe pick off, like, smaller stuff without having to commit a Murloc to it, because most Murlocs, especially in the early game, they're kind of small, so they'll probably die if you have to trade with something. So this allows you to either trade up more effectively or just pick something off and keep your Murlocs alive. I don't know, I like this guy. I just like him. He's cool. Next up, Streetwise Investigator. 5 mana, 4/6, Battlecry. Enemy minions lose stealth. I don't know. I mean, we are probably not going to go into a meta anytime soon where stealth is a big thing. I don't think that'll ever really happen. I can tell you why. Blizzard probably wouldn't like that because stealth is not fun and interactive. I'm assuming that's the main reason it probably won't happen. I mean, otherwise, like, how often really do people play proper stealth minions? Like, recently, Cat in the Hat. Is it called Cat in the Hat? Cat Trick? The Hunter Secret? That's like the biggest stealth offender. That's like the biggest one I can think of. Otherwise, like, this is a tech card. If at some point in the future we are allowed sideboards, bam. Smack this baby in there, you're good to go. Like, that's all I can think of. It's like this with your weapon removal, with your secret destruction cards, with stuff like that. Like Kazan Mystic, Acidic Swamp Ooze. This guy, you throw those in your sideboard, makes perfect sense. But putting this in your main deck, 5 mana for 4/6, I think you can do better nowadays. I mean, I've heard rumors of a 5 mana 10/10 in this set. So, I mean, it's okay. I like the art. Kind of looks like Nick Valentine from Fallout. I don't know why, it just gives me those vibes. So it's okay, but I don't see it really being very useful. Especially not in anything I'd build. Mistress of Mixtures. 1 mana, 2/2. Common, obviously. Death Rattle. Restore 4 health to both players. I love this card. It's like the new Zombie Chow. That's kind of like what it is. It's good. It's good. I mean, this is like, you put this in your control deck, or like, I don't want to say anti-aggro deck, because that shouldn't even really be a thing. That's not a thing, is it? But you put this in there, and if you're not in a hurry to kill your opponent, and your opponent is in a hurry to kill you, then this will be great. You play this for 1 mana, you can maybe even play it on turn 1. It can contest whatever he plays. Well, most things. I mean, sometimes you get a 1/3 on turn 1, then it can just attack into it twice and kill it. But, it's a 2/2. It can kill most stuff that drops on turn 1 or 2, and then, if you've taken some face damage, it'll heal it up. It's kind of cool. I like it. It's a Death Rattle as well, which I suppose is significant in some ways, but It's not that big a deal. Like, you don't want this raised by N'Zoth. That's a fact. You're not going to copy this with the Unearthed Raptor from Rogue. Yeah. But it's a pretty cool card. I like it. I like this card. I think it's good. I think it's pretty damn good. Next. Grook Fu Master, dude. Wow. The themes of the cards that they went with. I love seeing so many more friendly faces. I can't say friendly faces. From Pandaria here. Like the Pandaren races, the Jinyu. Obviously just straight up Pandaren. These nerds. It's quite cool. 5 mana, 3/5 Wind Fury. I don't know. These Wind Fury cards are always pretty underwhelming. The only really good Wind Fury card is Alakira the Windlord. That guy's good. I suppose Dust Devil, you could consider Dust Devil okay. But like this, it's 5 mana for a 3/5. The chances are at around turn 5 or 6 you play this guy, he'll either die immediately or he won't really have a big enough effect on the board state or the game itself to matter that much. Like, I don't know. Maybe in like a combo deck. He doesn't have charge though, so yeah. But still, maybe in like a combo deck. Not a huge fan. Next. The Cookie Chemist. 4 mana, 4/4. Battlecry, swap the attack and health of a minion. This is just a doubled up Crazed Alchemist. I don't really have much to say about this. I would prefer to use the Crazed Alchemist because in most situations where you need something like that, you want it to be kind of cheaper. You want to be able to fit it in with something else, maybe. You want to be able to play it earlier on. Maybe pick off a totem or two. Flip the health and attack of a Doomsayer, kill that. You know, on turn 4, I feel like you'd have less use for that specific Battlecry. It's nice, however, that they put the doubled up version in there in case we one day need it. You know, maybe one turn kill Priest could benefit from this. Buff the health of a minion up and then swap it around and kill someone. I don't know. You can put this in to have an extra chance to pick this effect up. What's going on with his waist, by the way? What is this here? Does he have like a lady waist? Because I mean, I'm assuming that's a he. I don't actually want to assume his gender, but what? Okay. Think I've studied that for far too. Let's move on. Hired Gun. 3 mana, 4/3 taunt. Interesting. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty okay. Like, warriors have a 3 mana, 3/4 taunt in the form of Fierce Monkey. That's also a beast. That's better. That's better than this. If you're looking for a taunt, you want something that'll survive more than deal damage more. But I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Because of the stats, 3 mana, 4/3. You're getting 7 points for 3 mana. It's pretty okay. It's good. And taunt is not a terrible thing to have. Next. Big Time Racketeer. 6 mana, 1/1. Summon a 6/6 Ogre. I like this idea. So you get a 6 mana, 1/1. And then you get the Ogre as a Battlecry. So first you can double up with Battlecry effects. Like Brand Bronzebeard or whatever. But also, you could potentially get this guy buffed up as well. By like Hobgoblin or stuff like that. That one from Paladin, Steward of Darkshire, that gives everything Divine Shield. This will work with that as well. It's okay. And again, Battlecry. Battlecry is good. So I mean, it's nothing special, but I think it's okay. Next. Backstreet Leper. I love the art on this. 3 mana, 3/1. Death Rattle. Deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. It's just a bigger Leper Gnome. And to be honest, I think this could actually see play. I don't know. I don't know if people will want to use this. Leper Gnome is gone. That doesn't get played anymore. I mean, I haven't seen it for quite some time at least. Maybe people play it. I don't know. Maybe it's like an underground league of some sort that still worships Leper Gnome. But I do think that Leper Gnome, since it was changed to a 1/1 from a 2/1, it's sort of, I don't know, fallen out of popularity. And this guy, I mean, he's a 3/1 instead of a 1/1 or 2/1, and he still deals 2 damage to the enemy hero. It's not bad. Again, Death Rattle could potentially be doubled up with stuff. It's not terrible picking this up from something like N'Zoth. It's not terrible. But, I mean, if you're playing this, you're generally looking to be aggressive, so you might not even make it to turn 10. But it's not a terrible effect to put on, like, a Raptor. It's not bad. I don't know. It's okay. I mean, if Nax was still a thing, I'd say Rivendare would be cool with this, but you can go turn 3 this, turn 4 Rivendare, can maybe deal 4 damage, whatever. I don't know. It's okay. I like the art. I do like the art. Next. Tanaris Hog Chopper. 4 mana, 4/4. Battlecry if your opponent's hand is empty, gain charge. I don't understand this. I don't understand. I mean, it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea, but how often is your opponent's hand empty? And if that's a thing, why would you want charge? I mean, I assume you'd rather want taunt and a big body, because he's probably playing an aggro deck and he's probably about to kill you. I don't know. I mean, I'm just not sure where it would fit in. Maybe if it was the opposite. Then you could punish people for having too many cards, but that would be an aggro player's dream, so that probably won't happen. Huh. But yeah, I see this battle cry as being kind of pointless. I don't think you'll ever get that to happen. Next. Friendly Bartender. 2 mana, 2/3. At the end of your turn, restore 1 health to your hero. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's just a decent card. It's not bad. 2 mana, 2/3s. It's a good stat line. Like, it deals with a whole lot, while also giving you just 1 health every turn. It's not a lot of health. Okay, that needs to be said. It's not a lot of health, but it would add up if you keep him alive for 2 or 3 turns, then you've gotten decent value out of this guy. So I think it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. I don't think it would work in like an aggro or Zooey type deck, but I mean, if any other deck needs something cheaper for the early game, this is not a bad choice. Next. Worgen Greaser, 4 mana, 6/3. This guy, he looks pretty slick, but he is not. This is just bad. I mean, I don't generally just call cards bad straight up, but I think this is just bad. Yeah. Yeah, it's just bad. Next, Hosen Healer. 4 mana, 2/6. Still on the commons, by the way. Battlecry, restore a minion to full health. I think that's cool. I mean, 4 mana, 2/6 is okay. Like, it's not an amazing stat line. Like, 2/6, the 2 attack, at turn 4, you're not going to kill a whole lot with 2 attack, but it will survive. You might be able to double tap something, and that's kind of cool. Restoring a minion to full health, however, I think that could see play. Like, especially in, say, maybe Druid decks or Priest decks, where sometimes you have these big taunts. You know, maybe someone is like working their way through an Ancient of War, and you just pop this baby on it, bam, it's up to full health. Or maybe you just can't trade that minion in with yours surviving. Pop this on there, yours will survive, theirs will die. Good value. I think this is okay. I think it's okay. Battlecry, doesn't really matter if you could double up on it or anything, but yeah, it's cool. Pretty cool. Next, Ancient of Blossoms. 6 mana, 3/8 taunt. I don't know about this. The artwork is absolutely amazing, super colorful, vibrant looking ancient there. But 6 mana for a 3/8. Look, 8 is a lot of health. It's a lot of health. But if you compare it to, say, like the Druid's card, which is Ancient of War, you get, for 7 mana, a 5/10. I know it's not a good idea really comparing it to that, but you end up doing that. You end up doing that because there are only so many slots in your deck that you can sort of assign to this kind of minion, the big taunter. Maybe again this would work in something that I was mentioning earlier, a 1-turn kill priest where you flip it around, you double it up to 16, double it up again, and then you flip it around and you kill your opponent. It's not unheard of, right? That kind of stuff could work. Next. 5 mana, 2/6, the Red Mana Worm. Whenever you cast a spell, gain +2 attack. I think this is good. I mean, I'm not sure, but I think this is pretty good. Like, it's a Mana Worm, except it's bigger. It can maybe even survive a turn. Imagine this with... Would it work in Miracle Rogue? I don't know. Like, that's your first instinct, say Miracle Rogue or maybe Priest. Priest with a bunch of cheaper spells or something like that. Like, you can maybe play this and then conceal it and then have a bunch of cheap spells that you play in the next turn, and then you just one-shot your opponent. That's a possibility. It's a different possibility. And I kind of like it. I think it could potentially work. I don't think it's like a must-have in something like Miracle Rogue or any deck, but it's a gimmick that you could pull off, and it would probably end up surprising your opponent. However, this guy's mind can be changed. It's definitely susceptible to stuff like Shadowword Pain, Cabal Shadow Priest, and so on and so forth. So it's like, it's gonna have to be concealed. Probably gonna have to be concealed. Next. Naga Corsair. 4 mana, 5/4. Battlecry, give your weapon +1 attack. This is a pirate. Yeah, I think it's pretty okay. Like 4 mana, 5/4 is already like, it's an okay stat line. It's not terrible. The fact that it's a pirate means that there's a lot of synergy. A lot of potential synergy. Extra stats. It can trigger certain things. Also, this seems to be a big Naga with a hook on its tail. It's like a snaky body. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool piece of art. I think it's good. Give your weapon +1 attack. That's a meager increase, but it's an increase nonetheless. And you're getting good stats for this regardless. And it's a pirate, so it's got that tribe attached to it. So it's pretty good. I think this is good. I'm almost certain this will be played in pirate decks. Maybe not a lot, like maybe one of or something. Maybe in a slightly slower variant of pirate deck. Maybe not super aggro, but it's pretty good. Pretty good. Next. Gadgetzan, Socialite. 2 mana, 2/2. Battlecry, restore 2 health. Yeah? I mean, there it is. It's pretty okay. It's a cute little gnome. I don't know. Like, 2/2 for 2 it's okay. I mean, we play cards that are 2 mana, 2/2s, like Knife Juggler. But that's an amazing effect that I don't think you're gonna see elsewhere ever again. Like, that's just way too good an effect. Restoring 2 health, however, you can put this on your hero, you can put it on a minion. It's flexible like that. Again, you can double up with certain cards. You can have other cards that are affected by battle cries get buffed up or whatever by this. Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. It's okay. It's okay. Next, the Street Trickster. 3 mana, 0/7 demon, spell damage +1. Interesting. Interesting that it's a demon and a neutral. Not very many neutral demons. Are there any neutral demons? I don't even know. But it's nice that you have a big body with spell damage on it. It's pretty useful, I'd say. Like, you could even taunt this up with like an Argus or a Sun Fury or something if you wanted it to absorb some damage. But I mean, if you're looking for spell damage, it's usually, like recently at least, I've seen these Malygos Druid type things drop the Malygos and put that, is the Snowbolt in, that gives +2 spell damage, but then you put that in just for the spell damage. You don't expect it to be played and have it survive and so on and so forth. You play it for like a combo turn or whatever. So I don't know if this will ever be used, but it's a cool idea and it's a demon. I like that they've sort of deviated from the norm, which was the kobolds and like regular old stats. This is 0/7, that's out there. However, it's susceptible to Crazed Alchemist. That can be one-shotted by that. I don't know. It's okay. Next, the Toxic Sewer Ooze. 3 mana, 4/3. Battlecry, remove 1 durability from your opponent's weapon. It's interesting that this doesn't kill the weapon, but I suppose you're getting better stats. I think that's the trade-off that you make in there. So the Acidic Swamp Ooze kills the weapon instantly. This one is 3 mana, 4/3 instead of 2 mana, 3/2. So it's extra stats. Getting quite a lot of extra stats for 1 extra mana. And it just removes 1 durability, which in many cases is enough. Like when your opponent equips a weapon, usually it just has 1 charge left by the time your turn comes around. So I mean, it's okay. This is okay. I don't know if it would see play instead of the ooze again, because when you want the ooze, you want it for its effect, and you want to be able to play it, fit it in at any point. So I don't know. This, you're going to have to wait 1 more turn to be able to fit it in. Yeah. Is that something you want to do? I'm not sure. But maybe in a meta where weapons are super prevalent, like there's a weapon in every single deck that you're playing against, this would be quite good. Cool art as well. I mean, a lot of these cards have cool art. Then we have the Daring Reporter. 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever your opponent draws a card, gain +1/+1. Again, the cool art. I feel like this artwork fits with the one that I called Nick Valentine earlier. Sort of the same kind of artwork. Still a common, by the way. I don't know. 4 mana, 3/3 whenever your opponent draws a card. So basically, you'll play this. Your opponent will draw a card when his turn starts. You get into 4 mana, 4/4. 4 health is not super difficult to kill. Not super difficult, but if it gets to 5 or 6, if your opponent misplays and draws more cards before killing this off, it could get scary. It could also work in a mill deck, right? You play this with the Cold-Eyed Oracle, or with a Naturalize, or with whatever, you know, anything that makes your opponent draw, you're gonna get it pretty buff pretty quick. It's like a Quest and Adventurer for mill decks. Huh. I mean, that's okay. It's not great, okay? This is a very niche card. I think it would maybe only work in mill decks, and I mean, people could probably do well with it. Like, imagine you make a mill deck, you put this in, but then why wouldn't you just put a Quest and Adventure in? For reals. No, okay, you have to play cards for that to buff up. Right, okay, of course. So maybe you put both in. Like, maybe in a mill rogue, and then you can conceal it and buff it up. Yeah. Play this with Quest in. Oh, that's an idea. Next up. Second-rate Bruiser. 5 mana, 4/5. Taunt. Costs 2 less if your opponent has at least 3 minions. I like this effect. I like stuff that will give you an advantage if you're on the back foot. So, an advantage against aggro decks. You know, if you're playing against a Zoolock or whatever, it'll cost 2 less because they'll always have a lot of minions out. It'll be 3 mana for a 4/5 Taunt. I think this is decent. This is our first rare, by the way. So, we're starting on the rares now. I think this is pretty okay. I don't know if we're going to see like a lot of it in decks. I can't predict that just yet. But 4/5 for 3 is awesome. Especially when it has Taunt. It's a good anti-aggro tool. I guess it'll work in slower stuff. Handlock. Maybe you'd put one of these in a Reno lock. I don't know. Handlock doesn't exist anymore though, right? Yeah. It's not bad. It's alright. Doppel Gangster. 5 mana, 2/2. Battlecry. Summon 2 copies of this minion. So, this is pretty cool. And this card won't make much sense to you until you see the Crime Family's cards, the Grimy Goon cards, which have a lot of hand buffing stuff. So, basically, this guy, your game plan with him is to buff him up while he's in your hand, then you play him, and he summons 2 extra copies already buffed up. So, I mean, there are other situations, like there are other cards that we went by that could potentially have, like, sort of benefited from this, but not so much. Like, this is the first one that properly benefits from that effect that we're going to check out soon enough. We'll move on to the family cards soon enough. So keep in mind what I'm saying. Keep in mind that this will be very different when you look at it along with those cards. Because I saw some of those in the reveal stream and they look pretty cool. It's even a legendary, if I'm not mistaken, that buffs up your cards by a whole lot. So, this guy, he's interesting. I don't know why, but I sort of see him as the new Grim Patron. In some ways. Sure, you could use Bran and you could summon 4 copies of this guy instantly. You could pretty much fill your board up, so it'll be 5 of them immediately. But, I mean, you'd first want to buff him up first. Like, while he's in your hand, you want to buff him up to at least 3/3, 4/4, 5/5. Then you'll summon 3 of whatever that size is. So if he's a 5/5 or a 6/6, let's say 6/6, you play this, you get 3 6/6s for 5 mana, which is stupid. That's crazy good. I like it. I really like it. I think it's, again, I don't want to say gimmick. I don't want to say gimmick because I think this could potentially work in decks that have a lot of those hand buffing things. I think Paladin got a lot of them and Warrior got a lot of them. And Hunter got a few. But I think it'll work better in both Paladin and Warrior. Right? We'll see when we get there. But this is something I want you guys to make a mental note of. And once we get to those cards, we can sort of throw this in the discussion as well. Next. Backroom Bouncer. 4 mana, 4/4. Whenever a friendly minion dies, gain +1 attack. That's an interesting effect. Why does the Backroom Bouncer get extra attack when a friendly minion dies? Maybe enrages. It's sort of an enrage effect. I don't think this is very good. 4 mana, 4/4 it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. But the effect is not strong enough for it to be, like, you know, a definite must-have. So, it's okay. It's actually probably below average, if I had to guess. Next, Small Time Buccaneer. This is a new pirate. 1 mana, 1/2. Has 2 attack while you have a weapon equipped. I think this is awesome. I like the artwork as well. That's a small-time pirate. That's a small-time buccaneer right there. I think this is sort of... I want to say this is Undertaker levels of good. This is one of the best cards we've looked at in this video thus far. I just think this is awesome for aggro. It works great in Rogue because, say you play this on turn 1, you can't attack. There's no charge or anything like that. That's cool. You know, that's fine. But on turn 2, when you activate your dagger as Rogue, then suddenly it's a 3/2. Just like that, a 1 mana 3/2. You can attack with your weapon. You can attack with this. That's 4 damage wherever you want it. And I mean, that's going to add up. That's awesome. Like, imagine with Rogue, if you have 2 of these in your opening hand, you play 1, coin 1 out, then the next turn, you dagger up. You can do 6 damage plus 1 damage from your dagger. That's 7 damage on turn 2. How do you deal with that? This guy's great. I'm just saying. I think this guy's really good. I think that he'll work in... I mean, Pirate Warrior is good, right? Pirate Warrior is good. It's pretty okay. And I think it'll work in Rogue as well. But it doesn't even have to be Pirate Rogue. Just Rogue in general. Pirate Warrior and Rogue in general. This guy will work in there. And I think he'll work pretty well. I think he's cool. He's a nice, cheap, and sort of decently statted minion. Maybe he's actually overly strong. I don't know. Maybe it's imbalanced. Maybe this is good. This is a good card. I like this card. I think that's all I need to say. I like the art. I think it's super strong, and I'm definitely going to use it. Definitely going to use it. 5 mana, 5/5. The spiked Hog Rider. There's 3 of these. I think there are 3 Hog Riders. This guy has Battle Cry. If an enemy minion has Taunt, gain charge. I think this is slightly better than the previous Hog Rider we saw, but it's still a little niche. Like, I just don't know. Why would you want a 5 mana 5/5 with charge against an enemy taunt? Like, if it's a big taunt, it's going to die to it. If it's a small taunt, it'll have charge, it'll attack into it, it will probably die in the next turn. I don't know. The art style on this is very retro. I kind of like it. He's got bacon in his gun. He's a hog with bacon in his gun. I think that's bacon. The art is cool. They're all riding these horde choppers as well, which is a little weird, but it's a fun card, but it's not a good card. Next, the Bomb Squad. 5 mana 2/2. We're still on the rare cards here. Battlecry, deal 5 damage to enemy minion. Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to your hero. This is a 5 mana 2/2. I think that it's too expensive for it to be really good. I think Bomb Lobber was slightly better. But Bomb Lobber is gone, right? Yeah, Bomb Lobber is gone. I think that was in GVG. The Death Rattle's, it's a big negative, and it's just a 2/2 body. 5 damage is a lot. If you double up on the Battle Cry and you only get a single Death Rattle, that's okay. Like 10 damage to enemy minions. I don't know if it's 10 to the same minion or two different minions, but yeah. I mean, I don't know if do you choose the target with this? It didn't say random anyway, so if you choose the target, I guess it's okay, but again, I just don't think that a 5 mana 2/2 will be played because of, I mean, the Battle Cry is just not that impactful. And like, what if your opponent doesn't have any minions out? You want to play this as a standard 2/2? No thanks. Next, the Fell Orc Soul Fiend. 3 mana 3/7. At the start of your turn, deal 2 damage to this minion. I like this. I mean, I think this can actually... This is good. I think this is a good card, and I think it could potentially be used in Priest. You see, it's a neutral card, and, you know, with Priest, sometimes you kind of want a damaged minion. It's not like Execute is seen much play nowadays. I mean, sure, you still see Execute here and there, but if they execute a 3 mana minion, you're kind of happy about that. And you put this down, you have an instant target for your Cleric the next time it's your turn. I think this is good, and I mean, even if it takes the 2 damage, you can heal it up in the next turn, and if you don't heal it up, it's still a 3/5. This is a decently statted minion. This is the first epic, by the way, and I think it's just straight up pretty okay. But I think only in Priest. I don't think it'll see play in any other deck. This could work in Priest. It's decent anti-aggro. It can synergize with some Priest stuff. Obviously works well with stuff like Circle of Healing and so on and so forth. It's okay. It's pretty good. Pretty good, I'd say. I don't know who is going to be crazy enough to use this stuff, but it's not a battle cry or anything either. Like the Injured Blade Master. It's just at the start of your turn. So like, if your opponent can do 5 damage to it before your turn comes, it'll kill itself at the start of your turn, but, you know, otherwise it'll survive. So, yeah, it's pretty good. Next. Blubber Baron. 3 mana, 1/1. Whenever you summon a Battlecry minion, while this is in your hand, gain +1/+1. That's cool. That's like a... what is that guy? That Paladin legendary that buffs up when... Volvoth? Is it Volvoth Fortress? That's not Volvoth Fortress. Whatever. That guy. That guy. That buffs up when minions die. He's in your hand. He's getting bigger, bigger, bigger when your stuff dies. This guy's sort of similar. He starts off as a 1/1. You're going to want to keep him in your hand for a long time. And I like the idea of it again. This is something that's not been done before. Dirty Rat. Next. 2 mana, 2/6. Taunt. Battlecry. Your opponent summons a random minion from their hand. I don't know. 2 mana, 2/6 is awesome. But that effect, though. That effect. Now, if your opponent summons the random minion from their hand, does it get their Battlecry as well? I guess not. It might, but I guess not. Either way, it's not good. Either way, I would probably not play this. Like, the beauty of Deathlord was he was a little bit bigger, and it was from the deck. Maybe that makes this better, because, like, if this was from the deck as well, it could get something massive out. Generally, you want to keep stuff that's smaller in your hand, so if you play this earlier on, yeah, it's okay. Unfortunately, the Battlecry will always happen. You can't silence it like you could potentially silence the Deathlord. I don't think it's amazing. Maybe for, like, some funny combo deck. Maybe for a funny combo deck. Next. Wind Up Burglebot. 6 mana, 5/5. Whenever this attacks a minion and survives, draw a card. Okay, that guy's got a lot of arms. It's a mech. There's a mech? Okay, it's a mech. That's something I've sort of forgotten about. What the hell happened to mechs? That's not what I'm going to be pondering right now, though. 6 mana, 5/5 is so-so. Will it survive and draw a card? Probably not. Probably not. You sort of want stuff with stats like that to have an immediate effect on the game. This is not going to. It's average. Probably below average. Next. The Leather-Clad Hog Leader. This is the big hog. 6 mana, 6/6. Battlecry. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in hand, gain charge. Probably the most playable of all of them, but still not amazing. Like, if there's at some point a really slow control meta where it's all handlocks and freeze mages and control warriors and stuff, this could be okay. I mean, a 6 mana, 6/6 with charge is pretty cool. Like, compare it to the Reckless Rocketeer, which is a 5 mana, 5/2 with charge, but that at least gets charged all the time. Compared to that, it's great. The stats are great, but I mean, again, this is just pretty average, because 6 or more cards, that's a lot of cards. Next up, the Burgly Bully. 5 mana, 4/6. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, add a coin to your hand. It's like a baby Gallowix. That's not very good. I don't like it. It's again just, you know? And the artwork just creeps me out for some reason. I'm moving on right now. Defias Cleaner. 6 mana, 5/7. That's big. That's a lot of stats. Battlecry. Silence a minion with Death Rattle. That effect, though, is very niche. Sideboard material, maybe? The non-existent sideboard material. 6 mana, 5/7 is not terrible. But, don't Druids get a 5 mana, 5/7? The Dark Arakoa? Oh well. Battlecry, Silence, Death Rattle. I would never see this used. Like, I don't think people are going to use this. Next, Fight Promoter. 6 mana, 4/4. Battlecry. If you control a minion with 6 or more health, draw 2 cards. I mean, this could work in like a priest deck that again has big minions in it. 6 or more health. That's not so much, but I mean, it's enough for it to be difficult to pull off, because, you know, if a minion gets damaged or whatever, its health goes down, and then it's slightly more difficult to get that combo off. So I just don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be amazingly good. I don't know if it's gonna be like a game changer or anything. But, it's okay. It's okay. Next, the Weasel Tunneler. This guy is funny looking. I don't know about this guy. Like, he's very weird. 1 mana, 1/1. He's a beast. Death Rattle, shuffle this minion into your opponent's deck. So, it's a bad card. It's a bad card that you want your opponent to be drawing constantly. I'm guessing that's the idea behind this guy. Like, you want your opponent to constantly draw into Weasel Tunnelers instead of, well, I guess pretty much anything else. So you're gonna have to do something crazy with it. Like, you're gonna have to run it with, I can't even say something that doubles up the Death Rattle, because there isn't really very much right now that doubles up the Death Rattle. I honestly think that it'll be difficult to pull off, but if you do, it'll be super funny. So it's like a meme card. It's like a fun gimmick that you could potentially try out. But to be perfectly honest, I just don't see it working in anything serious. You know? So like, it might work, but not in anything serious. It's a fun idea. It's a fun idea. And again, the artwork is just, it's crazy. Kind of cool and kind of crazy. Next. This is the first legendary. Auction Master Beardo. 3 mana, 3/4. After you cast a spell, refresh your hero power. I like cheap legendaries, I do. But this guy, he's again very niche. Big combo deck, like you... I guess combo deck, yes. So you're going to want to set up some sort of combo with... What can you set up a combo with? Jirax's hero ability, Ragnar's hero ability. I don't even know how you'd pull that off, honestly. What else? You want to make your hero power free, but then you have to cast spells to it. Nah, I don't even know how this would work. I honestly, I can't right off the top of my head think of how this would actually just work. Like how you'd make it work. But I think it has potential. Like, it definitely has potential for some weird or crazy combo. I just at this point can't sort of think of anything. I don't know. Next. Patches the Pirate. 1 mana, 1/1. I think this guy's awesome. Firstly, he looks really cool. He's a beholder or something. He's got charge. After you play a pirate, summon this minion from your deck. So yeah, you heard that right. He will automatically be summoned from your deck after you play any pirate. So I just think that's awesome. I mean, he's a 1/1, but he has the pirate tag attached to him, so he will get buffed up by pirate buffers. Okay? That's the thing that'll happen. And I guess you don't want him in your opening hand. So maybe you play like the small time buccaneer that we saw earlier, the 1 mana card. You play that on turn 1, and you get this guy free. Then you attack with him on turn 1. Then on turn 2, you've already got 2 minions out. You can play a third one. I think this guy's awesome. I think he's a really, really, really good card. I think this is, again, one of the better... It's weird that the 2 really good cards I've seen so far have been pirates. Pirate decks are going to have a field day, I guess, in this expansion. It's just awesome. Great card. I think it's sort of... I don't want to say just what pirate decks needed to work. I don't know if that's what I would say about it, but I think that it's a pretty cool addition. Okay? It's a pretty cool addition, and it'll definitely work. It's a must-have. It's a legendary, so everyone won't have it. You'd have to craft it for 1,600 dust, which is pretty expensive. I mean, not everyone buys a lot of packs. But, yeah, he's good. He's good, and... Well, really good, and he will definitely be like a must-have in all pirate decks. And he's got charge. Anything with charge can potentially be broken. Imagine him in a rogue pirate deck. You can sort of play a pirate on turn 1 or 2, and then this guy charges out, then you put Cold Blood on him, and he attacks for 5 damage. It's pretty strong, right? Pretty damn strong. This guy's great. I like this card a lot. I think he'll definitely see like a ton of play. Next, Finja, the Flying Star. 5 mana, 2/4, Murloc, Stealth. Whenever this attacks and kills a minion, summon 2 Murlocs from your deck. I think this is awesome. And I think this is just what Murloc decks needed. I think this is going to be great in Murloc decks. He's wielding 2 swordfish, and he's got a star on his forehead. This is a cool dude. I like this guy. Stealth is great, so you will survive. He just needs to attack and kill a minion, and then 2 from your deck. So imagine he pulls out a War Leader, and like the Charger, the Bluegill Charger. Then you can attack with the Charger immediately, and the Charger will have 4 damage because the War Leader. That's awesome. This guy is great. I don't know, maybe Murloc decks will actually be a thing. Maybe Murloc and Pirate decks will actually be a thing in this expansion. I think he's really good. Maybe slightly less so than Patches the Pirate, but he's still really, really good. And definitely going to be in Murloc decks. Next, Rathian. Old Rathian, here he is. He is not a dragon, which is a little weird. Like, I'll admit, that's a little bit weird. I thought Rathian was a dragon. Even in human form, I suppose I would have considered him classified as a dragon, but he's not here. He is, however, for dragon decks. 6 mana, 4/5. Maybe he would have been imbalanced if he was a dragon, because then people would be able to discover him. People would have been able to have the synergies and stuff with him from right at the start. I don't know. 6 mana, 4/5, Taunt. Battle Cry, draw cards until you draw one that's not a dragon. That's cool. That's really cool. So if you have a dragon-heavy deck, you play this dude, you could draw a lot of dragons. You'd want to sort of not have too many dragons. It's very RNG, but I think it's good for dragon decks. For sure, for sure. I would definitely consider running this in a dragon deck. I think it's a pretty fun effect as well, and it's a taunt. And in most dragon decks, I assume you would play a slower game, so the taunt would be sought after. Let's just say it would be sought after. So I like this guy. He's pretty okay, and it's good for dragon decks. Next, Madame Goya. 6 mana, 4/3. Battle Cry. Choose, and we're still on the legendaries, by the way. Choose a friendly minion, swap it with a minion from your deck. It's like Bonds. It's like a big lady Bonds. I don't know. Madame Goya is the black market auction house lady from World of Warcraft, and 6 mana, 4/3. It's okay. The effect is great if you have a stacked deck, you know, if you have a lot of big stuff in it. If you have like a 30 legendary deck, this is going to be good for you. Pretty good for you. But, you know, I still think Bonds is maybe better in some cases. Remember, no, I don't know. It's a different type of card. This will work much better in a bigger, more late game control-oriented deck. Bonds, you sort of want to pull cards out with effects, because they 1/1, but they still have their effect on them. This pulls it out with its proper stats. You know, if this pulls Ragnaros out, he's an 8/8. Pretty cool, but you need another minion on the board, so it might be a little bit more difficult to pull off. I don't know. It's a cool effect. I like the effect, but I don't see it being very useful. Next, Mayor Noggenfoggen. This guy, he hangs out in Gadgetzan, even right now in World of Warcraft. 9 mana, 5/4. All targets are chosen randomly. Yeah, that's crazy. That's like a new Nosdormu, basically. It's like a crazy, weird. Like, if you play him, even just getting this guy dead, even just killing this guy, will be really difficult. It basically makes the entire game so rad. Like, spells, attacks, I think even hero abilities are chosen randomly. Everything is chosen randomly. How would you even kill this guy? You probably wouldn't try. You'd just go about your game and pretty much ignore him and hope that you don't kill yourself. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't think you'll see play because it's crazy. Because, like, you play it might kill you. Yeah. It might kill you, but it might also stop your opponent from killing you. I don't know. It's a fun effect, but it's not very good. Next, Genzo the Shark. 4 mana, 5/4. Whenever this attacks, both players draw until they have 3 cards. He's actually sitting in there with 3 cards in his hand. That's the Ninja card back. I don't know what that other one is. And like, is that a Pandaria? I don't even know what those card backs are. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool for aggro decks, I guess. Would you put this in like an aggro, a pirate deck or something as well? Like, would that? Nah, I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty cheap. The stat line is good for aggro because I mean you've got more attack than you have health, and the effect can be good. But 3 cards is an awkward number. It's like Jeeves didn't see much play. Jeeves did sort of the same thing, but he didn't see much play. This guy has to attack before you draw the cards, so that's only on the second turn that he's out there. I think he might see play. I definitely think he might, but it'll be difficult to make him work. Yeah. Next, Sergeant Sally. I like cheap legendaries. 3 mana, 1/1. She's got really cool artwork. Death Rattle. Deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. So, you're going to want to buff her up. You're going to want to buff her up. Again, this is one of those that will synergize nicely with the Grimy Goons hand buffing effects. We'll get to those shortly. Very shortly. It's a Death Rattle. So you could also buff it up with something like Abusive Sergeant and then attack into something, then it'll deal 3 damage to everything if it dies. It probably will die because it's only got 1 life. You could Power Overwhelm in it, you could buff it with anything, basically anything. Paladin has also a bunch of ways to buff things, and then it can clear the board. I think this will probably find a home in the Handlock or Reno Lock style decks. It might also work in like a slower control hand buffing Paladin or Warrior deck, which again, we'll get to. We'll get to that. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if it's great. It's again a niche card, but it could potentially be pretty good in certain decks. I think that's the end of it. Yep, that's the end of the neutral legendaries. We're gonna move on to the, let's have a look, the families. Moving on to the families now. This is the I suppose this is what the whole expansion revolves around. So there are 3 cards for each family, and the way it works is there are 3 families. So each family is 3 different classes. We're going to open the first one now. This is the Grime Street Smuggler. You can see there below its mana cost, which is 3. There's a little Grimy Goons symbol. That's the Grimy Goons symbol. It's the 2 clubs. Then it's got the Paladin, Warrior, and Hunter colors. So Paladins, Warriors, and Hunters can play this card. They can all play it. I love that. I think it's great. But the other classes can't. So this one right here, Battlecry, give a random minion in your hand +1/+1. That's the new effect that they added for the Grimy Goons. It's quite cool. It's a 3 mana 2/4. I like it a lot. I think it's a fun effect. This card itself, 3 mana 2/4, pretty good. If this gets buffed up only once by, say, another one of these, if you run 2 of them, you play the 1, then it's a 3/5 for 3, which is super strong. And it can just go higher, you know? Also a Battlecry, so there's some synergy there. I think this is a good card. This will work in like Zooey type, or maybe Control-y type hand buffing decks. Again, this is the kind of thing that'll work with Sergeant Sally or the Doppelgangster, which we saw before. This will work quite well with those. Next, Grime Street Informant. This is a rare, the previous one was a common. This is a 2 mana 1/1, Battlecry, discover a Hunter, Paladin, or Warrior card. Now I think this works in such a way that it'll give you a Hunter card, a Paladin card, or a Warrior card to choose from. It won't give you random ones. It won't give you like 3 Warrior cards. It'll give you 1 of each to choose from, and that's great. Like, it's 2 mana 1/1, sort of like a Jeweled Scarab type thing, but it could be anything. It could be a legendary, it could be a weapon, it could be a secret, it could be anything, which I think is awesome. I think this will definitely see play again. You can double up with Battlecries. Maybe if you keep this in your hand, you can buff it up a little bit if you play other Grimy Goons cards. Yeah, I like this a lot. I think it's quite good. Pretty good. Next, the Big Bad from the Grimy Goons. This is a legendary. His name is Don Han Cho. 7 mana, 5/6. Battlecry. Give a random minion in your hand +5/5. So if this smacks on Sergeant Sally, then she's going to be a 6/6 when she comes in play. When she dies, she'll do 6 damage to everything. Same goes for the Doppelgangster. It'll be a 7/7. You'll summon 3 7/7s for 5 mana. Pretty broken. Pretty crazy. But he costs 7, so this will be a later game thing. It's a random minion in your hand as well, so it could go on one that you don't want it to go on, or that it affects less. Cool artwork. I like these 2 guys. This is like a slick guy on the left here, a slightly more goofy guy on the right. They've got different outfits on and everything. Don Hancho is cool. He's cool. So this is how every single family is going to work. Each of them will have 1 common. I think 1 rare, and the legendary. And then again, Paladins, Warriors, and Hunters can use this. And the next family, the Jade Lotus, this family is for Shaman, Druid, and Rogue. You can see on this card, the first one we're looking at, Jade Spirit. It's a 4 mana 2/3. It's got the little Jade Lotus symbol there. Battlecry, summon a Jade Golem. Jade Golem is a new mechanic. It's pretty cool. I was sort of caught off guard by this. Now, the way this works, the Jade Golem mechanic, it's a little bit more difficult to understand than the hand buffing. Again, Druids, Shamans, and Rogues have access to the Jade Golems. They each have some Jade Golem cards. This, when you play it, it's a 4 mana 2/3. If this is the first Jade Golem card you play, it'll summon a 1/1 Jade Golem. But if you play a second one of this, it'll summon a 2/2 Jade Golem. If you play another Jade Golem card, it'll summon a 3/3, and so on. It just keeps going up. The card's description text actually updates as well, which is awesome. So you will see what size your Jade Golem is going to be. This has some crazy synergy potential, like it works amazingly with Bran, Shadow Step, anything that returns stuff to your hand and you can play it again. Double up on Battlecries, basically. And the whole Jade Golem thing from the Jade Lotus is just awesome. Like, I love it. I think it's really, really good. It's probably my favorite of the 3 families. Next card is the Lotus Agents. 5 mana, 5/3. Battlecry, discover a Druid, Rogue, or Shaman card. Same as the Grime Street Informant, just more expensive. 5 mana, 5/3. I think this is pretty okay. Like, you can compare it to Ethereal Conjurer. That's a 6 mana, 6. No, it's 5 mana, 6/3. It's 1 more attack, but it also just discovers a card for you. This one could be slightly more versatile, though. Again, Battlecry, you could double up. I don't think it's amazingly good, but I think it's worth considering. It's worth considering in a slower control type deck. Again, it works for all 3 of those classes, so that's pretty cool. Here is probably my favorite card in the entire set. Aya Blackpaw. 6 mana, 5/3. Battlecry and Death Rattle. Summon a Jade Golem. So she alone will buff up your Jade Golem twice. So you play her, she summons a 1/1. If it's the first, it's unlikely that she'll be the first Jade Golem card you play, but I'm just giving you an example. Then she dies, she'll summon another one, and that'll be a 2/2. But if you had played 2 or 3 Jade Golem cards before, say you'd played 2, then the first one that she will summon will be a 3/3, and the second one will be a 4/4. And that'll just keep spiraling out of control. Really cool. Her artwork is amazing as well, and just everything about the card does it for me. I think she's awesome. Probably, again, my favorite card in the entire set. And that's it for the Jade Lotus. Next up, we have the Cabal. Cabal is, as you may already have figured out, Mage, Priest, and Warlock, the final 3 remaining classes. They all have access to these cards. First up, 4 mana, 3/3, the Cabal, Chemist. Battlecry, add random potion to your hand. Potions. These are new as well. There are a good bunch of potions in the game now. You're going to see some of them when we move on to the class cards. You'll see that there are a variety of different potions that do a variety of different things. And this lady here is 4 mana, 3/3. She's going to give you a completely random one. Like, it could be a polymorph potion, one that gives you attack, one that wipes the entire board. You'll see the potions as we go through the class cards. Okay? So, I think, again, very versatile. Battlecry can double up with that. I need to always mention that. It's a common card as well, so most people will have access to it. I think it's pretty okay. Like, it's not going to guarantee you any success. You might get a potion you don't want, but there's a chance it gives you something good. Something amazingly good. And there's also a chance that as a mage, you'll get a priest or warlock potion, or vice versa. So it's okay. Next, the Cabal Courier. 3 mana, 2/2. This is a rare. Battlecry, discover a mage, priest, or warlock card. Sort of the same again as the Informant or the Lotus Agent. Just discovers a card from the 3 classes. It opens up a world of like randomness and possibilities. All of these cards, because you can be playing mage and you can get those priest or warlock cards that you're usually not supposed to get. You know, because the game's not balanced around mage being able to get all the priest or warlock cards. You know? So fun or crazy stuff can happen with these cards. And this one I think is pretty cool because it's a 3 mana 2/2. It's a little bit cheaper. I prefer this stat line to the Lotus Agent stat line because you can play it earlier. You can sort of earlier decide if it's actually helped you out or not. And, I mean, I suppose just in general, you don't really care if a 3 mana minion lives or dies as much as you do about a 5 mana minion. Next up, we have the legendary from the Cabal, Kazakus. 4 mana, 3/3. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, create a custom spell. This is crazy. I saw this in the demonstration games that Blizzard played. The custom spell, it's crazy. That's like the best way I can describe it. I love this card. It synergizes nicely with Reno decks, obviously. Reno is not going to be around forever, unfortunately, so, you know, this will not be great forever, I guess. But I think it's great right now because of the crazy amount of like, I suppose, potential it has to help you out in any situation. Just it's very dynamic like that. So the way the discovering of or the creating of a custom spell works, it brings up the discover screen. Then you can choose the mana cost of the spell first. Then you get one of 3 different. So you can choose 1 mana, 5 mana, or 10 mana, if I'm not mistaken. Then you get, I think, for 1 mana cards you get 1 effect. For 2 mana cards, for 5 mana cards you get 2 effects, and for 10 mana cards you get 3 effects. I think they also get stronger. Like a lot stronger. The 10 mana effects are way stronger as well. So you get to choose those. So for 1 mana, I think you choose one. It might be 2. I've not actually, like, I didn't pay too much attention, and I haven't tried this, obviously, or anything like that. But you get to make a custom spell. So say you could potentially choose deal 3 damage, and then the next one you could choose draw 2 cards. Then you could play maybe a 5 mana spell that costs, it costs 5, deals 3 damage, and draws you 2 cards. Or one that gives you armor and draws you cards, or one that buffs a minion, draws you cards, or one that summons a minion, draws you cards, and so on and so forth. Very, very versatile. Very cool. I like it. Again, it's a battle cry. You can double up. Like, this, I would say... Yeah, with this, you only need 7 mana to create 2 custom spells with Bran Bronzebeard out. So, yeah, this is definitely going to work in, like, those Reno locks or... I don't know. I think Priest got some cards that also... need you to not have duplicates. I'm not 100% certain, but I think they got cards like that as well. So this will also work in that. We'll get to that when we get to that, though. This is a really fun card. Super fun, very versatile, and it's a cheapish legendary. So that's right up my alley. And that is that for the families, the gangs. Now we're going to move on to the first class cards, Druid. Druids are with the Jade Lotus, which you will see in just a moment. Here's the first card, a common. Mark of the Lotus. Give all your minions +1/+1. I don't think this is very good. I think it's pretty average, actually. Like, I'd rather play Power of the Wild instead of this because it's more versatile. But this kind of works nicely with Jade Golems. You know? If you summon a bunch of Jade Golems, you can get this on them to boost them up. It's a cheap spell as well, so maybe it'll work with, like, an Auctioneer Druid. I've been seeing some Druids playing Auctioneer recently. So, I mean, this also makes your Arcane Giants cheaper, which is, again, a thing that Druids have been doing recently. So, there you go. There you go. Pretty okay. Next up, Jade Blossom. This is interesting. It's more ramp. I don't know why Druids are getting so much ramp. Ugh. It frustrates me because I have to play against Druids that ramp up eternally. 3 mana. Summon a Jade Golem and gain an empty mana crystal. So you ramp up and you summon Jade Golem. Again, I explained how the Jade Golem mechanic works. It gets bigger every time you summon one. It can go up to a 30/30, if I'm not mistaken. So they get pretty big after a while. And this ramps you up. So this is a good card. I think this will see a lot of play. It's probably a very good card. Like, this is probably going to be in every single Jade Golem Druid deck. Or just regular Druid decks as well, because it summons you a minion and gives you a mana crystal. Next up, Jade Behemoth. 6 mana, 3/6 taunt. Battlecry, summon a Jade Golem. Yeah. Druids have been blessed with some pretty decent Jade Golem cards. It's nice. It's a taunter, so it's anti-aggro. Summons your Jade Golem, which could be, well, I mean, at turn 6, any size, it could be pretty big. So yeah, I like this card. I like this. It's good. It's quite good. Next, Vermin Sensei. This is a rare. 5 mana, 4/5. Battlecry, give a friendly beast +2/+2. I don't know if this is really good. This has got cool artwork, I suppose. But Druids, Beast Druids, I don't know. I don't know if they're a thing yet. Maybe they're going to be super strong in this expansion. Maybe someone just needs to figure out how to make a good Beast Druid deck. There are some good Beast synergies, but I think Hunter has the brunt of the good Beast synergies and the good Beasts. This guy, however, has carrots floating around him in the air. So that's something that he's got. It's okay. It's not great. Probably below average. Next up, a rare called Jade Idol. This is super crazy. 1 mana, choose one. Summon a Jade Golem or shuffle 3 copies of this card into your deck. This basically makes Druids immune to mill effects. A Druid can never be milled out if they keep shuffling this into their deck. So Mill Druid is going to be a real thing. And a real contender for best mill deck. Also, it just gives you so many chances to summon Jade Golems. I think that Auctioneers are going to be a must-have in Druid Jade Golem decks. Just because. You play this, you pick up another one, you play this, you pick up another one, you shuffle them into your deck, you play this, you pick up, you can just eternally do that. Pretty crazy. Really good card. Probably a must-have and auto-include in most Druid decks. Next, Celestial Dreamer. 3 mana, 3/3. Cool artwork, that's Yulon in the background there. Battlecry, if a friendly minion has 5 or more attack, gain +2/+2. For 3 mana, getting a 5/5 is pretty decent. Pretty damn decent. I don't know, I mean, 5 or more attack. That's not always the easiest thing to pull off, so I don't know if this will really see much play, but you could use this just with the Firecat that turns into a 5/2 or 2/5. You could just use that and play this with that. 6 mana, you can get a 5/5 and a 5/2. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not great though. Next. Pilfered Power. 3 mana. Epic. This is the first epic we're looking at for Druid. Gain an empty mana crystal for each friendly minion. With Jade Golem decks that potentially run Living Roots and stuff like that, I think this could work quite well. It's for turn 3, yeah, it could work quite well. Like, if you have the coin and Living Roots on turn... No, I wouldn't use... With just 2 minions, I think you'd need at least 3 for it to be really good. But it's just... It's more ramp for Druid. I don't think it's great. I think that with Wild Growth and with the Jade Blossom, you've already got enough. So I don't think you'll see this in many decks. It's just not that good. Next up, Lunar Visions. It's a spell, however, maybe it can combo with some stuff. Lunar Visions. 5 mana, draw 2 cards, minions drawn cost 2 less. I think this is okay. Again, Spell Druid, like right now, runs a lot of spells and sort of plays 5 mana stuff. But I mean, I think you'd rather play Nourish instead of this, which is also 5 mana, and it draws you 3 cards. Just 3 random cards. Sure, the minions don't cost less, but what if you draw spells? I think Nourish is just straight up better than this. This is okay, though. Like, if you're already running 2 Nourishes, you could put one of these in. Or if you run a minion heavy deck, you could just put these in instead of Nourishes. It's not bad. The final Druid card, the legendary Kun the Forgotten King. 10 mana, 7/7, choose one. Gain 10 armor or refresh your mana crystals. In other words, this is a 0 mana 7/7 if you play it on turn 10. So basically, you can play this on turn 10, you get all 10 your mana crystals back, then you can play something else. Well, a whole bunch of other stuff for 10 more mana. Or you can get 10 armor. I think this is good. Like, I don't know if it'll be in every single Druid deck ever, but I mean, imagine this with Aviana or that Naga that makes things cost 5. This could be very good. Very, very good. Or like with Emperor Thaurissan, you could reduce him to 9. I don't know. He's good. Okay, maybe not very good, but he's good. I like the versatility again. The armor could be useful. Refreshing your mana crystals could obviously also be useful if you have a bunch of cards. Because we've seen now that Druids like drawing cards in recent, well, expansions at least. Next, Hunter. Moving on to the Hunter. Actually, maybe we should... Let's keep it in the families. Okay, so we did Druid now. Let's move on to Shaman and then Rogue. Okay, let's do that. So we're doing the Jade Lotus classes first. Then we'll move on to the Grimy Goon ones. And then we'll move on to the Cabal ones. Or Cabal and then Grimy Goons. Doesn't really matter. First card for Shamans. Jade Lightning. This is a common 4 mana, deal 4 damage, summon a Jade Golem. I mean, if you're playing a Jade Druid, this will be auto-include. It's not amazing. Okay. Like 4 damage is decent, but for 4 mana, 4 damage it's an entire turn. And if the Jade Golem is like 1/1 or 2/2, sure, you're buffing up the next one, you're increasing future potential, but it's sort of like a little bit of a buzzkill. Like 4 mana, summon a 1/1 or 2/2, it's okay. I don't know. It would have to be auto-include though, because you'd need those Jade Golem effects, right? You'd need to be able to make the Jade Golems stronger. Next, the Jade Chieftain. 7 mana, 5/5. Battlecry, summon a Jade Golem, give it Taunt. Pretty okay, I guess. 7 mana, 5/5 is not great. You'd want this for the later game. That's why it's, 7 mana. You're going to be playing it later. You obviously don't want this in your opening hand. It's a Battlecry. It can double up with that, with Brand or whatever. Or anything else that affects Battlecries. And this will only be really good, I guess, again, if your Jade Golems are slightly bigger. If they're not bigger, I mean, it still protects the 5/5 body, just having the Taunt on the Golem instead. It's okay. It's not as good as the Druid Jade Golem cards, but it's okay. Next, call in the finishers. 4 mana, summon 4 1/1 Murlocs. This is a spell. Just summon 4 1/1 Murlocs. I don't know if I like this. I think it's pretty bad, actually. Like, Murloc Shaman has actually not been great recently, and this is not going to do much for it. So, I don't know. This also, like, I mean, Shaman doesn't have anything can happen, so it's not going to, like, get in the way of that or whatever, like summon the 1/1s accidentally, but I don't like this card very much. Next, Jinyu Water Speaker. 4 mana, 3/6. Battlecry, restore 6 health. Overload 1. Yeah, this is okay. It's a Jinyu, that's pretty cool. But 4 mana, 3/6 is not terrible. And restoring 6 health is quite a lot. The overload for 1 is... I mean, it's obviously something that you we'll have to take into account, but it's not bad. Yeah, that's what I'll say about it. Not bad. Next, Jade Claws. This is also a rare. 2 mana, 2/2, Battlecry, summon a Jade Golem, Overload 1. I think this is very good. This is a cheaper Jade card. You want the Jade cards to be pretty cheap, I suppose, for them to be good. 2 mana, 2/2 weapon is not terrible. Like, you can attack twice for 2 damage. That's 4 damage. Overload 1 is not really a huge deal. It does synergize with Tunnel Trog, which is good for it. And then summon a Jade Golem. I mean, on turn 2, I think that it'll pretty much kill anything your opponent has out if you play this on turn 2, because 2 damage should be enough for that. Pretty much anything, not anything. Plus, it'll summon the Jade Golem. So that's pretty good. I like that card. I think it's really good, actually. It'll probably see play in a whole lot of different Shaman decks, because the Jade Golem you summon could also be buffed up by, like, Flame Tongue Totem or something like that. It has a lot of synergy. More so, I think, than the other two we've seen, like the Jade Chieftain or the Jade Lightning. Next, Devolve. 2 mana, transform all enemy minions into random ones that cost 1 less. Pretty good. I think this is pretty good, but it could backfire. Like, it's a weird one. I'm not sure it's going to see a ton of play. I'm not sure it's not a board clear. That's the issue with it, right? It's not actually removing anything from play, and you know, where would it fit in? Where would it fit in? I guess it's good anti-control or anti-synergy. Like, you can ruin a Murloc player's day by turning all his stuff into non-Murlocs or whatever. I don't know. I don't know where it would see play, but it's an interesting idea. Next, Finders Keepers. This is the first epic. 1 mana, discover a card with Overload. I think this is pretty okay. I just don't think it works. It's also got Overload 1. So 1 mana, Overload 1, discover an Overload card. It synergizes with stuff that want you, like the Unbound Elemental and the Tunnel Trog. Those ones want Overload. So that's cool. It's also a cheap spell, so it synergizes with other stuff. Like, I can't say Auctioneer. I mean, I always say Auctioneer, but other stuff that would want you to cast spells. And discovering an Overload card is awesome because there are a lot of really good Overload cards. A lot of really good ones. You could get a Flame Wreathed Faceless out of this. Next, Lotus Illusionist. 4 mana, 3/5. After this minion attacks a hero, transform it into a random 6-cost minion. I kind of like the idea of this. The art is super cool as well. But, like, man. They're also very good 6-cost minions. Okay, and any 6-cost minion is probably going to be better than the 3/5 body that this has. But it has to attack the hero. I want to say if it had to attack a minion, it would probably be very good. Now it's just pretty okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's better than pretty okay. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's good. Maybe if you attack a hero and it transforms itself into like a Boulder Fist Ogre, you'd be pretty happy, you know? That'd be tough to remove. But would it survive 5 health? I mean, it's possible that it would survive. So it's pretty okay. And this one is better than pretty okay. This is the Shaman Legendary. This guy's called White Eyes. 5 mana, 5/5. Taunt. Death Rattle. Shuffle the Storm Guardian into your deck. Now, I don't have an image of the Storm Guardian. You guys are just going to have to believe me on this. The Storm Guardian is a 5 mana 10/10. 5 mana 10/10. That sort of beats a 4 mana 7/7. Just a straight up 5 mana 10/10. I'm not sure if it has Taunt. I don't know. But I know it's a 5 mana 10/10. So I think White Eyes is awesome. I think he'll fit in pretty much any Shaman deck. It is a Death Rattle, so it can be silenced. It could be stolen, I suppose, and used against you. But it's a really good card. This is a really good Legendary. I like him. I think he will see play for sure. One of the better cards in the set, probably. You'd have to draw the Storm Guardian. You'd have to find it in your deck first, but I think he's good. I think he's good. Next, Rogue. I am sort of in two minds about what they've done with Rogue. There are some nice cards, but most of them are pretty bad. Okay, first card. This guy. This guy. This guy. When I first saw the Shadow Rager, I laughed. I laughed for like a minute straight. Because this is a ridiculous card. 3 mana, 5/1. Stealth. Shadow Rager. You know, like Magma Rager, Frost Rager, and so why did they do this? Why do rogues deserve this kind of treatment? Tell me that. Tell me why. Why did they do this? This is a stupid card. This is, I suppose, in the run-in for the worst card in this set. It's bad. It will probably die the turn it's played because it's only got 1 life. Sure, there's a chance it'll survive, but then it'll just attack and then it'll die. Great. Great. Man. You can't see my face right now because my face cam hasn't been recording. But it's just not impressed. This is a terrible card. This is dust. Next. Jade Shuriken. I like this. This, on the flip side, this is an amazing card. 2 mana, deal 2 damage, combo, summon a Jade Golem. This is awesome. I love this card. I think this is great. This is a Jade card. Again, like it has the Jade Golem mechanic attached to it. It can summon an increasingly large Golem. 2 mana, deal 2 damage. Awesome. This is a good card. This is good. Unlike Shadow Rager, I like this card a lot. This is really good, actually. This is going to go in most of my rogue decks, probably. Or at least in all my Jade rogue decks. Really cool. Next, Jade Swarmer. 2 mana, 1/1. Stealth, Death Rattle, summon a Jade Golem. I'm assuming that Blizzard thought that the stealth on the Shadow Rager would be good because it could synergize with other stuff that work well with stealth cards. Maybe you can buff him up or something, then attack. Or, you know, if you control a stealth minion, then it does this or it does that. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Jade Swarmer is awesome. Jade Swarmer is a 2 mana 1/1. Like I said, the Death Rattle summons a Jade Golem. It could be bigger, you know, based on what you did. Maybe you play this guy, then in the next turn you find a way to combo Jade Shuriken, and then you can get a 1/1 Jade Golem plus a 2/2 Jade Golem. It's also a Death Rattle, so you could put the Raptor effect on this to get it on the Raptor. It could be summoned with an Azoth if you wanted to do that. Yeah, this is a cool card. And unfortunately, that's it for the Jade Golem cards for Rogue. For some reason, Blizzard only gave Rogue 2 Jade Golem cards, but they gave the other classes 3 Jade Golem cards. Maybe that's just confirmation. Blizzard hates rogues. I don't know. The Shadow Rager maybe was a last minute addition. They thought, okay, let's troll the rogue players. But that's it for the Jade Golem cards for Rogue, unfortunately. Next up is Counterfeit Coin. This is just a coin that only rogues have access to. You can put this in your deck. I think this is pretty awesome for Miracle Rogue. I thought about this. Okay? And it's a decent addition. Like, you may think to yourself, hey, it's a dead draw. Sort of like Shadow Step is a dead draw if you have nothing to combo it with. But if you draw this while you're busy digging with your Auctioneer, it's awesome. It's amazing. Additionally, you could use this plus the regular coin to get a turn 1 6/6 Edwin Van Cleef. Isn't that just the most ridiculous thing? That's cool. That's an amazing way for a Miracle Rogue deck to get a strong footing on the board and a good advantage going into the game, because sometimes Miracle Rogue just gets crushed. I like the Counterfeit Coin. I think this will be awesome in Miracle Rogue. Maybe in other rogues, but mostly in Miracle Rogue. I suppose you could also use... This is our town, Scrub. Yeah, beat it. There you go. You could use this to get those guys out sooner, whatever. Next. This is a rare. Gadgetzan Ferryman. I don't know why this card exists. It's a 2 mana, 2/3 combo, return a friendly minion to your hand. I am not sure why this exists. I just don't know what they did with Rogue for this expansion. I hate to be sort of like... I don't... Maybe I'm sounding whiny about it, but I just feel like Rogue kind of got screwed over with some terrible... Why? Why is this even a card? Because if you compare... It's a Rogue card, it's a rare, but you can compare it to Youthful Brewmaster, which does the exact same thing and doesn't require the combo mechanic to be active. So, like, what? 2 mana, 3/2. That's the Youthful Brewmaster. It's got a better stat line. That's better. 3/2 is better than 2/3. In most situations, you'd want to have that higher attack rating instead of the higher health, because you'd want to trade up and kill something bigger. You know? You can play the Youthful Brewmaster immediately and just, you know, you don't have to worry about... It's a battle cry. You don't have to worry about the combo being active or not. This guy, he's a rare. He requires combo, and he's a 2/3. What? Why would you play this instead of Youthful Brewmasters? I just don't understand. I don't get it. There's no combo synergy. There's no, like, good thing that you could get. This is as bad as Kidnapper, if not worse. Terrible. In the running once again for worst card in the set. Next, Shadow Sensei. 4 mana, 4/4. Give a stealthed minion +2/+2. I guess this is the reason that Shadow Rager exists, right? This is the reason that Shadow Rager exists. So this guy, you can play Shadow Rager on 3, because surely you're going to be running that in all your rogue decks. Then on turn 4, you can give it +2/+2 and attack for 7 with a 7/3. Or not, because that's a terrible idea. So let's move on. This card is not amazing. I don't think you're going to be running... Like, how often... Like, okay, it works with Jade Swarmer. Okay, maybe... Wait, hold on. Maybe I'm being overly critical, because I just reviewed the Ferryman and the Shadow Rager. Maybe I'm being overly critical, because this could also work with the Jade Swarmer, wherein... I mean, I suppose that could be better, like, in that case. Having the 3/3 for 2 mana there with a Death Rattle on it. That's a little bit better, but it's still pretty bad. Okay, next up. 5 mana, 5/5, the Lotus Assassin. Stealth, another stealth, by the way. Whenever this attacks and kills a minion, gain stealth. I suppose this is better, but I just don't think it'll fit into any rogue decks currently. This is an epic card, by the way, just the first epic card we get in. I don't know. Like, what kind of rogue deck would this fit into? Where would you see this work? Tempo rogue? That's not even a thing. I think, look, okay, wait. I think this is a good card. This is probably a really good card. I just don't know which rogue archetype it would fit into. Maybe there's going to be like a new pirate rogue or new tempo rogue type thing that pops up somewhere and is awesome. This will fit in there. Because I think this is a good card, like a really good. It could even be an awesome card. Because, you know, the Stranglethorn Tiger gets played. People play Stranglethorn Tiger. It's good enough to be played. This is better than a Stranglethorn Tiger. Way better. It's great for board control. So I actually really like this card. It's just, I'm sort of a little meh because I'm not sure where it'll fit in. It's got stealth, so you could give it +2/+2 with a Shadow Sensei. I do think it's a good card though. So this is it could be a really, really good card, like an absolutely amazing card if Rogue went into a direction where this would actually work. So, I mean, I want to say, let's put a pin in this one and check back later and see how it goes. Next, a Pirate, 6 mana, 5/5, the Lucky Do Buccaneer. Battlecry, if your weapon has at least 3 attack, gain +4/+4. I think this could potentially be awesome. The artwork's great, okay? I think this could potentially be awesome for a weird pirate deck of some sort for Rogue. I don't know. Like, Deadly Poison alone could get you up to 3 attack on your weapon. So, it's very likely that by turn 6, if you're playing a pirate deck, you'll have the 3 attack weapon. Then you get a 6 mana 9/9, which is crazy. That's really good. 6 mana 9/9 pirate. So yeah, I kind of like this. I think it could potentially work. I'm not sure like if a lot of people will try and put it in a pirate deck, because generally pirate decks are pretty aggressive. But I like it. Yeah, I mean, I think it can definitely do some work. Like, you go 9 damage to face. Wow. Like, by turn 6, that could be your finisher, right? There's no stealth or anything on this. Okay, so it will be susceptible to whatever, big game hunter, to polymorph type effects or something like that. But if it's a class that just has direct damage, like raw damage, dealing 9 would be pretty difficult. But I think the Lucky Do Buccaneer is pretty good, and it's a pirate. So hey, there's another rogue pirate. Pretty cool. Next, the Rogue Legendary. The Rogue Legendary. 3 mana, 2/3. There we go. There's that cool stat line of 2/3. But this one's 3 mana. Stealth. Whenever this attacks, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class. Yeah, okay. I mean, this is a Burgle Rogue card. I've not been so into Burgle Rogue, so I'm just not super keen on this. This is the Legendary. I feel like some of the other class Legendaries were much better, more impactful. This guy, I mean, it's doubtful that he'll survive for more than 1 turn. He might survive for 1 turn, sure. He might. But I don't think he'll survive for more than 1 turn unless you can give him stealth again. In which case, you are probably wasting slots in your deck on stealth-giving cards. So I don't know. Maybe this is finally the, what is it, Mistress of Pain, or what? No, that card, the 4 mana, is it a 4 mana 4/4 that gives a minion stealth? Maybe finally that's where this is gonna be useful. I don't know, again, this could be buffed up by Shadow Sensei, I guess. But, like, what are you gonna get from your opponent? It's completely random. There are so many class cards, many of them are terrible. Some are good, of course. It could give you an amazing card and immediately be instant value, like crazy good. I mean, say you attack a warrior and it gives you... Just as an example, you play this on 3, on turn 4 you attack once, you get a Korkron Elite. You play that immediately, you attack immediately, that's great. Awesome. Fine. It paid off. But maybe you attack and it gives you something terrible instead. Maybe it gives you something that's just completely anti-synergistic with your deck, and then what? Then it was a waste. Then it dies and it's done. I don't know. I think that Undercity Huckster is just a better card. 2 mana, 2/2. Death Rattle, which is just more synergy. Much more synergy than this whole Burgle effect. Because you could double up with the Raptor, N'Zoth, like whatever, Death Rattle effects, you know. And it gives you a card, the same thing. 1 card when it dies. This guy's going to give you 1 card, then he's going to die. I just don't think this is a great legendary. And I'm sad for all the rogues out there, like myself, that sort of wanted a little bit more. I don't know. It's not great. Not great. Moving on. Let's start with Hunter now. This is the first of the Grimy Goons classes that we're looking at. First one. Shaky Zip Gunner. 3 mana, 3/3, which is already pretty good. Okay, that's decent. Death Rattle, give a random minion in your hand, +2/+2. So there you go. That's the trademark Grimy Goons effect. I like it. I like this card. I think it's not going to be in like every single Hunter deck ever, but if you play in one of these like hand buffing decks, it'll work quite well in there. So I think it's pretty okay. Not a beast or anything like that, so there's no synergy there, but it does have the hand buffing potential. Next up, the Alley Cat. 1 mana, 1/1. It's a beast. It's a common. It's going to summon a 1/1 cat. It summons basically 2 Alley Cats. You can see the other one hanging around in the back there. This is good. I think that most Hunter decks will run this. I think it's quite nice. Like, it gives you 2 1/1s on turn 1. They're both beasts, so there's some synergy there to be found. Like, you could buff it while it's still in your hand. You could buff it up with Houndmaster, or like whatever. There are a lot of different beast synergies you could use on this. I think Alley Cat's good. I think it's really good. I think it'll probably be seen a lot of play. Because, I mean, in like aggressive Hunter decks where you want to empty your hand out for those quick shots, then this is going to see play. It's gonna be useful because it gives you 2 minions, double the chance to have your kill command be active, and so on and so forth. You know, it's just a good card. Next, Smuggler's Run. This is a cheap 1 mana spell. Give a random beast in your hand, 2/2. Oh, this is Smuggler's Crate. Smuggler's Run is a different card. Where did I see Smuggler's Run? I think that might be a Paladin card. Anyway, unimportant. We'll get there. This is Smuggler's Crate. 1 mana, give a random beast in your hand, +2/+2. I mean, this is pretty okay, and it synergizes with another card we're going to look at in just a moment. But I don't know if, like, you'd want to, like, maybe in a lock and load Hunter, right? That's the only place I see something like this really working. Next, the Trog Beast Rager. This is the first rare. 2 mana, 3/2. Battlecry, give a random beast in your hand, +1/+1. I think that's okay. I think that's pretty good. 2 mana, 3/2 is good. You want an aggressive stat line for Hunters. If you run in this with a lot of beasts, like maybe the Alley Cat, like maybe the next card we're looking at, I'll show you now. It can work quite well. It's a Battlecry. It's just a straight up 1/1. You know, you get in 4/3 worth of stats out of a 2 mana card. I think this is a good card. I think this will see a lot of play. I think that most people will try and make decks with mostly just beasts, so like 80% beasts, and then you throw this guy in there. Maybe like 1 or 2 other non-beast cards, but then you'll almost always get quality value out of this guy. So it's good. Next, the Dispatch Kodo. 4 mana, 2/4. This is exactly where the hand buffing comes into play. So the Trog Beast Rager we just looked at, if it gives this guy +1/+1, look how good it'll be. This is a 4 mana, 2/4. So its Battlecry is deal damage equal to this minion's attack anywhere. And it's a beast, so obviously it gets buffed up. So if this gets buffed up, it'll be a 3/5. You get to deal 3 damage as a Battlecry. Awesome. If you get a +2/+2 on it from Smuggler's Crate, it'll be a 4/6. You'll deal 4 damage to the Battlecry. And I just want to say, even vanilla, even with the 4 mana, 2/4 stats, I think it's still worth it. This is a great card. This will definitely be played in most Hunter decks. I think it's just really good. Whether you buff it up or not, I think it's just really good. Next, the Hidden Cache. This is a secret. After your opponent plays a minion, give a random minion in your hand, +2/+2. It's just another Hunter secret. I think it's one of the weaker Hunter secrets. in my honest opinion, I think this is a slightly weaker secret. And I say that because it doesn't have a direct, immediate impact on the game. It's not going to save you from something like a freezing trap would or explosive trap would. It's not going to kill a minion like a snipe would. I mean, snipe's not amazing, but you know what I'm saying. No immediate impact. However, it could have an impact in the next turn, again, with a Dispatch Kodo, with other beasts that you'll buff. There's one more, actually. We're going to look at a minion in like 2 cards from now that'll also get buffed up and have a great effect. So this is great for a deck that runs, again, just these cards that synergize well with the hand buffing stuff. The Grimy Goons cards, you know? So it's decent if you can make it synergy work. So I'd say it's decent. And it's a secret, so Cloaked Huntress will help with it. Now, the next card, Piranha Launcher. This is a weapon. 5 mana, 2/4. After it attacks, summon a 1/1 Piranha. This is the first epic, right? Yeah, first epic. And that's okay. I mean, I don't know. Look, it's got 4 durability, which is awesome. Now, I don't know if there are many cards that can buff weapons up for Hunter. Or at least available to Hunter. But you could always discover, using the Grimy Goons cards, some warrior cards. I suppose. I don't know. 5 mana is a lot. It's only a 2 attack weapon. But you do summon a 1/1 Piranha, which is a beast every single time you attack. And it's a damn Piranha Launcher. It launches piranhas. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so it's okay. It's not an amazingly great card. I think like Dispatch Kodo is better, Trog Beast Rage is better, and so on and so forth. But it's not bad. I mean, it's another weapon. It's another weapon. Eagle on Bow is still way better. Next up, the Rat Pack. This is cool. 3 mana, 2/2. This is an epic death rattle. Summon a number of 1/1 rats equal to this minion's attack. So there you go. Again, you're going to want to buff this guy up either in-game or while he's in your hand. So if you have hidden cash, then it could buff the Rat Pack up, or it could also buff the Dispatch Code up. You'd be happy with either target. The Trog Beast Rager buffs this up. The Smuggler's Crate buffs it up, and so on and so forth. The other Grimy Goons cards buff it up. You know? So, again, you're going to buff it up in your hand. You play it, you could get a potential swarm of rats. That's awesome. 3 mana, 2/2 for a 2/2 beast is not amazing. But again, you want to buff it up. Say you play this guy, then you put the Houndmaster on him, then it's a 4/4. For 3, that's not bad. And you get 4 rats when it dies. Rats are also beasts. Even more synergy potential there. Kinda cool. Finally for Hunters. This here is Knuckles. The Hunter Legendary, 5 mana, 3/7. After this, attacks a minion. It also hits the enemy hero. So Blizzard know what Hunters like. Hunters want to go face, and face is always the place. So even if you go minions, it still goes face. Even if you trade, it still goes face. I think this is very good. I think this is one of the better legendaries. This is way better than, what's that guy, Shaku the Collector from Rogue? Way better than that. 5 mana, 3/7, Beast can be buffed up. Imagine you play him and he's like a, I don't know, 5/9, 6/10. Then after he attacks a minion, it also hits the face. You buff him up with a Houndmaster, he's got Taunt, hit even harder, hits the face. And damn, Knuckles is looking super keen for battle. I like this legendary, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's one of the better Hunter legendaries. Will it see play? I think it'll definitely see play. Yes. It'll fit quite nicely in beast decks. I mean, you may think to yourself, for just 1 mana more you get Savannah Highmane, but I mean, you can run this with Savannah Highmane. So yeah, it's pretty cool. This will fill out your curve nicely in that case, so I like it. I like it. Next up, Paladin. Again, keep in mind, Grimy Goons cards. The Grimy Goons cards, we looked at them before. They work quite nicely with these. There was the Grime Street Smuggler that gave a random minion in your hand +1/+1. There was one that discovered a card from Paladin, Warrior, or Hunter. And then finally there was Don Han Cho that gave a random minion +5/+5. You could give that stupid Rat Pack +5/+5. Imagine that. Now, moving on, there are some more synergies here in Paladin. Smuggler's Run, that's what I was thinking about before. This is a Paladin card. Okay, 1 mana, give all the minions in your hand, +1/+1. I think this is pretty good. I think that Aggro Paladin is going to make a comeback with some of the cards that they are being given here and some of the Grimy Goon stuff. This is pretty okay. It's a cheap spell, which obviously you want if you're going to be playing Divine Favor, right? Cheap spells are good spells. Next, Grime Street Outfitter. 2 mana, 1/1. This guy's awesome. Battlecry, give all minions in your hand +1/+1. This is like a must play for aggro Paladin. Dude, and you play it on turn 2. All your minions, if you have a hand with 3 or 4 minions in, the value that you get out of this is insane. It's even good in the late game if you have minions in your hand. Super, super good card. One of the better cards that we've looked at so far. I think it's amazing. I played Paladin a lot. Like, Paladin was the first class I got to 500 wins. I played aggro Paladin to get to 500 wins. I loved it. This is going to make aggro Paladin a thing again. It's great. Love this card. So, so good. Really, definitely viable. Really good. Next. 1 mana, 2/1, the Grimscale Chum. Battlecry, give a random Murloc in your hand, +1/+1. I mean, this is, it's good. It's really good for, it's amazing for Murloc decks, but it's more niche. So you're not going to see this in standard, like, aggro Paladin decks. I mean, you might if you run in mostly Murlocs in it, but, I mean, if you compare it to the Grime Street Outfitter, that one gives you way more value for just the 2 mana. But this is 1 mana, it's a 2/1. The Battlecry is good for Murloc, so this is probably a must-include, a must-have in Murloc decks. Quite okay. Then, the Getaway Coda. This is the first rare for Paladins. 1 mana, Secret. When a friendly minion dies, return it to your hand. This is awesome for the Grimy Goons cards, because most of them are Battlecries, so if you have the Grime Street Outfitter out, it dies, it comes back to your hand, you play it again, you give all your minions in your hand, +1/1 again. And this would be awesome in Secret Paladin. It's just another secret, you know? I like this card. There's a lot of potential with this. Basically, all the Battlecry stuff and all the Death Rattle stuff. It's worth noting, I'm pretty sure about this, the Death Rattle does trigger, so it actually dies, then it comes back to your hand. So that's cool. It synergizes Death Rattle and Battlecry. I think this is one of the better secrets. It's very cool. You might even put that in decks that don't run like a lot of secrets, that just run 1 or 2 secrets. I like it. I like it a lot. Next. The Grime Street Protector. 7 mana, 6/6. Cool artwork. Cool artwork. This guy's a lawyer or something. I don't know. This is a rare. Taunt. Battlecry, give adjacent minions Divine Shield. So this is a selfless dude. He's doing what he can for other people. He has Taunt. 7 mana, 6/6. And he gives adjacent minions Divine Shield, so there's even less chance they're going to die. You have to get through the Taunt to get to them, plus then you have to get through the Divine Shield. I don't know if this is an amazing card. I think it's pretty okay, but for 7 mana, I feel like there are many legendaries that would be better. It would be more difficult to find a spot for this in your deck, basically. But there's the Divine Shield synergy, which Paladin sometimes looks for. It's kind of big, so maybe it could be the top end of aggro Paladin. No, that's probably too expensive. It's anti-synergistic with Divine Favor, so you probably wouldn't play it there. I don't know. I imagine it would be very good in like a later game Control Paladin then, in that case. Like maybe in a N'Zoth Paladin. Maybe like a 1-of in a N'Zoth Paladin. I don't know. Grime Street Enforcer. 5 mana, 4/4. At the end of your turn, give all minions in your hand +1/+1. I think this is also pretty good for the, well, for the aggro Paladin slash, I suppose I could say tempo Paladin. I don't know. But a lot of minions want to be buffed. Again, that's the Grimy Goons thing. Hand buffing. I think the next minion actually is one that's going to be looking for something like this. Or, well, the same effects that Grime Street Outfitter or Smuggler's Run have. But Grime Street Enforcer, 5 mana for a 4/4 is not amazing, but it will get 1 stack of 1/1s in your hand, which is good. So that's already something. So if you have a lot of minions in your hand, playing a minion-heavy deck, this guy could be okay. Not as good as some of the other cards we've looked at for Paladin, though. Pretty okay. Next, the Mean Street Marshal. I like this guy. He's like, is he a Tuskar? 1 mana, 1/2. Death Rattle, if this minion has 2 or more attack, draw a card. That's awesome. It'll be so easy to get this 1 mana minion at 2 attack. Because, again, you could use just the Grime Street Outfitter or Smuggler's Run alone. Or any of the Grimy Goon cards that we saw before. And if he just gets 1 more attack, then when he dies, you draw a card. That's great. Good card. Definitely going to find a home in aggro Paladin. Definitely. This would have had like Hobgoblin synergy as well, I guess, and like Blessing of Kings. What is the one that gives 3 attack and Divine Shield? That as well. Synergy with that. Lots of stuff like that. Then, one of my favorite cards from Paladin, Small Time Recruits. 3 mana, draw 3 1-cost minions from your deck. This is so awesome. I think this is like an auto keep in your opening hand, because if you think about it, you're going to draw stuff like Mean Street Marshal. You're going to draw stuff like, if you're playing a Murloc deck, Grimescale Chum. You're going to draw stuff like Argent Squire. Like, there are so many good one-cost cards, and on top of it, it thins your deck out. So basically, you play this. It's sort of like what Mysterious Challenger did for Paladin with Secrets. You play this, it removes those from your deck. In other words, you draw those 3, you can immediately play them maybe. Okay, so this late game, if you top deck this, you can just draw those 3 cards, play them immediately. That's great. Cool, you've got a board, instant board. Might not be a great, amazingly big board, but you've thinned your deck of the cheap cards that you don't want to draw into when you're really desperate. So this is a great card. This is just really, really, really good. And again, this is perfect. Perfect for aggro Paladin. Imagine you draw an Abusive Sergeant, plus a Mean Street Marshal, plus a Argent Squire. That's an amazing set of 1-drops. You can use the Abusive Sergeant to buff the Mean Street Marshal, and he'll have more than 2 attacks, so you'll draw a card when he dies. It's awesome. So, so, so good. I love that card. Small Time Recruits. One of my favorites. Definitely up there. Finally, this is Wicker Flame Burn Bristle. This is the Paladin Legendary, and it's cheap. That's awesome. 3 mana, 2/2. Divine Shield and Taunt. Damage dealt by this minion also heals your hero. Super cool. I like this Legendary. Straight into my aggro Paladin deck. Bam. It's like probably going in there because it's got Divine Shield and it's got Taunt. Like, it's just it's a good combination. You're not really putting it in for the heals, but the heals are a nice extra, right? So if you're playing against another aggro deck, then this will slow them down, and any damage it deals, so they'll attack it once, it deals damage to them, you gain health. They'll attack it again to kill it, you gain health again. That's already decent value, even if it dies in its first turn. Additionally, Grimy Goons cards just buff this up so much, and it matters so much. So 3 mana, 5/5 maybe, Divine Shield, Taunt. Damage dealt by this minion also heals your hero. Isn't that just the bomb? I can't wait to make an aggro Paladin deck with these cards. It's going to be so much fun. Damn it. I'm so keen. I love this card. It's right up there with the other cards that I said were amazing, like Small Time Recruits, just as a more recent example. Awesome Legendary. So that's it. Oh no, it's Warrior now. Right. I thought we were done with the Grimy Goons. Warrior. Moving on to Warrior. First card. I know a guy. I love this. 1 mana. Discover a Taunt minion. That's awesome. That's just cool. I know a guy. That's... I like the flavor of it, okay? Most of these cards just have awesome flavor. The whole theme of the expansion, it sits well with me, for sure. Definitely does. So, this, I want to say, it's awesome in Bolster Warrior, which is not really a thing yet, but there are a couple of cards that work kind of nicely with Bolster Warrior in this set. So we're going to have to wait and see if that actually becomes a thing. But discovering a minion with Taunt on turn 1, it could be awesome, because there are lots of legendaries with Taunt that you could pick up. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you can get other classes cards. I mean, I don't know if that's 100%. Can you? Could you get Tyrian Fordring off this? Whatever. You'll get a decent minion. You can get a big Taunt, a small Taunt, whatever. So it's not bad. Not bad at all. Next. Grimy Gadgeteer, 4 mana, 4/3. At the end of your turn, give a random minion in your hand, +2/+2. There's again that effect, the hand buffing effect. This one is 4 mana, 4/3. I feel like this is... It's decent, and if it gets going, it's awesome. Like, if you can keep it alive for more than 1 turn, you've got a crazy amount of value. It's already given you, if you have a minion in your hand, it's already given you a 6/5 for 4. Basically. But then there's still the synergy with the other Grimy Goon type cards, where if you have something in your hand that works well with a buff, yeah, it'll be better, it'll be more beneficial. So this is okay, it's not bad. Public Defender. This is a Tauren lawyer, I suppose. 2 mana, 0/7 Taunt. Again, that's the bolster potential right there. Bolster Warrior, could get this from I know a guy. I really like this. I think this will find a home in control-y type warriors, because if you think about it, 2 mana, 0/7, that's good stats. 7 stats for 2 mana is awesome. You want to slow your opponent down a little bit. It synergizes nicely with stuff like Frothing Berserker, where you want it to get damaged, maybe with Blood Warriors. So maybe you put this down, it gets damaged, you make a copy of it, you put another one down. You know, you can keep going with that. It's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's nice. I think it could work. Next up, Stolen Goods. 2 mana. Spell. Rare. Give a random Taunt minion in your hand, +3/+3. Pretty good. That could work with the Public Defender. Pretty good if Bolster Warrior becomes a thing. Okay, let me just say that. Like, I don't think in many situations this will be awesome. Like, why would you want to play a spell? Warriors and spells, they play spells to kill things. They don't really usually play spells to buff things. That's what paladins do. So, if it can find a deck to work in, it could be pretty cool. But otherwise, I just don't know. Next, the Grime Street Pawnbroker. 3 mana, 3/3, battlecry, give a random weapon in your hand, +1/+1. I mean, I think that's pretty good. This could work alright in, I suppose in Pirate Warrior, where you're working with a lot of weapons, but you need the weapon in your hand. There's 3 mana, 3/3. I'm not sure. Like, I think it would have been better if it was a 2-cost card and the stats were a little lower. Like, you'd want it for a cheaper minion to do that kind of thing. So it's average. It's not amazing. There's actually a better card coming up that does sort of the same thing. You'll see. Next, Ali Armorsmith, also a rare. 5 mana, 2/7, taunt. Whenever this minion deals damage, gain that much armor. So, Grimy Goons, man. That's what they do. They want buffs. This guy wants to be buffed. You buff him up 2 or 3 times. He might be a let's say 5/10. Or what? How would that work? 5/10. Get him up to 5/10, deals damage, you gain that much armor. I think that's pretty okay. It's a 2/7 taunt as well, which is not super easy to get through. So yeah. Okay, not amazing. Brass Knuckles. This is a weapon. It's an epic. 4 mana, 2/3. After your hero attacks, give a random minion in your hand, +1/+1. So, I mean, that's got 3 durability, so you can get 3 attacks out of it. 3/3 is the stats that you get in total. I think it might be too slow. Like, you've already got Fiery War Axe, which you use. You've got the pirate cards that give you weapons already, like earlier game weapons, and you generally want to buff those up with things like Upgrade or whatever. You could use Upgrade on this, get even more value. I suppose it's okay, but I just think it might be a bit slow. And 2 damage on 4 mana is maybe a bit low as well. So yeah, I think it's a maybe, but probably not. Next, Sleep with the Fishers. 2 mana, deal 3 damage to all damaged minions. I mean, I suppose this synergizes quite nicely. The artwork is quite funny. Synergizes quite nicely with whirlwind type effects. I suppose that's okay, right? I want to say maybe with Ravaging Ghoul, this would be pretty good. Yeah, I guess. But it kills or deals 3 damage to all damaged minions. So you'll kill your own stuff as well. Maybe again in like a control-y type warrior, it would be good. Like, you'd probably use this in the later game to try and clear the board. Finally, we have the Warrior Legendary, which I think is just super, super good. Hobart Grapple Hammer. 2 mana, 2/2. Battlecry, give all weapons in your hand and deck +1 attack. This is like a must-have, right? This is like really good. If you run in at least 2 weapons in your deck, so 2 copies of 2 weapons, so 4 weapons, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it's 2 mana, 2/2 for this guy. Again, Pirate Warrior is going to have to be a thing. Like Pirate Aggro Warrior or something. Awesome. I love this card. I think it's really cool. Again, cheap legendaries, man. I love that they're adding so many cheap legendaries. The effect is great. It's just 1 attack. But 1 attack is a lot, man. Like 2 mana, you'd get a 4/2 Fiery War Axe. That's awesome. A 6/2 Arcanite Reaper. A 8/1 Gorehowl. This is damn good. I like this card. I like it a lot. Now we are finally done with the Grimy Goons. We're going to move on to the Cabal. Okay, so first in the Cabal is Mage. Now the Cabal stuff, it's all about the potions. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. First up, we have the Cabal Lackey. This is a Mage card, as I said. 1 mana, 2/1, Battlecry. The next secret you play this turn costs 0. There are some cool secret synergy cards coming up for Mage. And, I mean, I guess this could see play. Cloaked Huntress sees play. But Cloaked Huntress has a more, let's just say a more acceptable stat line. It's 3 mana for a 3/4, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, like, this is okay. And that makes all secrets free. This makes the next secret you play free. I don't know. Look, if it's Mirror Entity, this is a terrible card to use for that. If it's Counterspell, I mean, maybe in the early game, the secrets are just not that great. But there's some synergistic stuff coming up that could work with this. So, next card, Freezing Potion. 0 mana, freeze an enemy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this synergizes with Shatter. Otherwise, it's terrible. Miracle Mage? Miracle Mage. I don't know. This is not a very good card. Like, you draw into this, you are not going to feel better about your chances of winning a game. This is a definite nerf to Kabbalist's Tome or whatever, right? Definite nerf to things like... Oh, wow. The Rogue Legendary. You get this from Mage, you're going to feel pretty bad. Wow. Undercity Huckster, Burgle, and so on and so forth. This is not a good card. Next, Cryomancer. I suppose that's why they put the freezing potion in. 5 mana, 5/5, Battlecry, gain +2/+2 if an enemy is frozen. Nothing much to say about this card. It's a common, it's pretty average. Freeze Mage could potentially be a thing one day. I mean, that would be amazing if there was a proper Freeze Mage. I'm not talking about the late game control Freeze Mage, but like a mage that's a Frost Mage, basically. That would be cool. That runs Frost Bolts and Ice Lances and this and Shatter and so on and so forth. That's cool, right? Frost Elementals, maybe. It's an interesting idea, but that doesn't exist yet, so this card is not good yet. Then we have the Cabal Crystal Runner. That's a lady running with some crystals in a pouch. 6 mana, 5/5. Costs 2 less for each secret you've played this game. I kind of like this. It's like a Arcane Giant for mages. So if you run at least 3 or 4 secrets, maybe 3 secrets, 2 copies of each, this card will be free very quick. You just play 3 secrets, it's free. I like this. I think it's pretty cool. It's one of those that you keep in your opening hand if you have a couple of secrets to play. It's okay. I mean, even if you just reduce it once, it's 4 mana for a 5/5, which is awesome. It's not bad. This card is not bad. It could be really good if Secret Mage was a thing, which it could be one day again. I don't know. But for now, I mean, I guess it's just okay. Next, here's a new Mage secret. Potion of Polymorph. So after your opponent plays a minion, transform it into a 1/1 sheep. So it's basically 3 mana for Polymorph on a target of your opponent's choosing. There are so many secrets for Mage right now, however, that it would be quite tough to predict which it's going to be. So, like, is it Mirror Entity or is it Potion of Polymorph? Do you play a small minion or a big minion? That makes it quite interesting, right? So that, if you play both this and Mirror Entity, you could really do a number on your opponent's brain. That would be kind of tough to predict which it's going to be, and thereby kind of tough to play around it. So, I mean, this is okay. It's okay. It's not bad. Volcanic Potion. Deal 2 damage to all minions. I kind of like this. 3 mana. A rare spell. Much like the previous one was also... The previous 2 were actually rares. This is okay. I mean, it's just an extra AoE. I'm not sure if Freeze Mages would play this because it's not going to help them in the later game kill their opponents. But it's a potion. Just like the Freezing Potions in Potion, which means that if you discover in a potion with one of the Cabal cards, this is one of the options. So I like that. That's one thing I do like. You could get this off the Discover a Potion cards. Deal 2 damage to all minions, that's okay. That's not half bad. It's pretty okay. Next, the Manic Soulcaster. 3 mana for a 3/4 Battlecry. Choose a friendly minion, shuffle a copy into your deck. I don't know. I think this is okay. I think it's pretty good actually because it's 3 mana for a 3/4, which is a good stat line. If you have a minion out that you want a copy of, then you can shuffle it into your deck. Maybe if you have like Kazakus. We looked at Kazakus. You play him, you play this, you shuffle another Kazakus into your deck. Awesome. This allows you to play around the, like the whole Reno effect, you know? So it's not gonna, then you'll still be able to, you won't have copies in your deck. It's a nice card. Like, as a one-off in a deck, I see this being pretty good, right? So, if, again, like, you try use that with the Cabal's Kazakus, then your deck will not have any duplicates. You'll put one of that in there, and you'll create that potion. You immediately just put Kazakus back in your deck by using this Battlecry. Yeah, it's cool. Synergizes with Bran. You could put Bran in that deck as well, if you're making a Reno Mage. I kind of like this card. I think it's pretty good. Next, Greater Arcane Missiles. Shoot 3 missiles at random enemies that deal 3 damage each. It's basically Greater Arcane Missiles. That's what it is. The name says it all. I think it's slightly better in some situations, but in most situations it's definitely worse, because if you think about it, I don't know if you're going to want to play this just for the damage. Like, it's random, firstly. It could be 3 times to face, which sometimes you wouldn't want. And it doesn't synergize with things like Flame Waker. It doesn't synergize with other things that want cheap spells. I don't think it's amazing. It would be pretty good, I guess, if you get it out of something like a Kabbalist Tome. So it's okay. It'll be pretty good if you combine it with this next legendary we're looking at, which is Inkmaster Solia. 7 mana for a 5/5 battlecry. If your deck has no duplicates, the next spell you cast this turn costs 0. There we go. Reno Mage is definitely going to be a thing. You put this in there, you put Kazakus in there, you obviously put Reno in there, Brand Bronzebeard, Manic Soulcaster. Damn, yeah, I mean, you could make a pretty good deck. This legendary... Look, if you're making a Reno Mage, and if Reno Mage actually works, this is great. This is a good card, because you could play a Pyroblast for free. Even if you just play a Fireball for free, it's pretty good value, you know? It's 7 mana, same place that Antonidas is, you know? It's a sort of a hotly contested mana zone, 7 to 8 mana. A lot of good cards there. But yeah, again, if you're playing Kazakus, if you're playing Reno, you should probably play this. So I like this card in those situations. I definitely like this card. It's pretty good. Next is Priest. Priest got probably the coolest tools this expansion, I would say. The most awesome new additions. Okay? I think so. Priest is also with Cabal, so here's another potion. Potion of Madness. 1 mana, gain control of an enemy minion with 2 or less attack until the end of the turn. It's a smaller version of Shadow Madness. I think it's okay. Like, it's probably not going to see much play in Priest. Maybe as a one-off again, if you're playing like a Reno Priest, then you could put this in there with Kazakus, just as a one-off. You could get it from the Discover Potion cards, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Next, Cabal Talon Priest. 3 mana for a 3/4. This is the new Dark Cultist. I guess, another Dark Cultist right there. Battlecry, give a friendly minion plus 3 health. It's not a death rattle. You can control where it goes. This is probably going to be a must-play in any Priest. This is a good card. This is a really good card. Really, really good. I would play it, for sure. Like, even if you just play this on a Northshire Cleric or whatever, 3 extra health is a lot of extra health. And 3 mana, 3/4 is good. So it's a Battlecry as well, can synergize if you have Brand in your deck. If it's a Reno deck, you put one of these in there, you have Brand in there. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Next, Cabal Songstealer. 5 mana, 5/5, Battlecry, silence a minion. I don't know. Like, I would rather play the Silencer instead of this. The Spellbreaker. That's 4 mana for 3. It's cheaper, so you'd be able to play it sooner. Even Ironbeak Owl, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what this is doing in Priest. Priests like silencing things, so there you go. That's why they put it in here. It's below average. It's not a great card. Speaking of great cards, however, this is potentially one of the best cards, I think, in this set as well. I've said that about a couple of cards, but this is definitely one of those that I'll say it about. This is the Draconid Operative. 5 mana, 5/6. This is a dragon. Okay, so Dragon Priest. This is going to work in Dragon Priest. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, discover a card in your opponent's deck. So you'll see 3 cards from your opponent's deck. You'll be able to discover one of them. You'll be able to pick one of them. That does 2 things for you. Firstly, it allows you to see inside your opponent's deck what he's got left in there, what he's playing, and so on and so forth. It's a dragon, so it has a lot of different synergies in that regard as well. You can keep it in your opening hand to synergize with Wormrest Agent or Nether Whelpling or whatever. But also, it will always give you a good card, because in most situations, why would you run bad cards? Your opponent will be playing a bunch of good cards in their deck. So you could potentially get a nice big legendary, you could get something else that would work well in whichever situation you're in, because it's the discover mechanic. This is such a good card. And again, it's a dragon. 5 mana for a 5/6, good stats. Battlecry, you can double up on it. Discover, awesome. Such a good card. Probably, again, one of the best cards in the set, if not the best. Next up, Pint-Sized Potion. 1 mana. Give all enemy minions a -3 attack this turn only. So, I mean, this is an interesting idea. Like, again, as a one-off in a deck, maybe. Like, if you want to steal minions or something, maybe. If you want to use Shadowward Pain or something like that, maybe. If you want to use Shadow Madness or the Potion of Madness, the other one we saw, that's pretty cool. It's not bad. Like, it can do things, but it's a cheap spell, and in many situations it won't do that much for you. So I'm not entirely sure where it would fit in. I'm not sure. It's a potion though, so you might be able to discover it when you're discovering a potion, and that would be awesome. Next up, another potion. Priest's got a lot of potions. 4 mana, the Greater Healing Potion. Restore 12 health to a friendly character. That's pretty good, I guess. That's a really big heal. That is a really big heal. But you can't use this with Orkanai Soul Priest. Not going to do anything for this. You're not going to be able to deal 12 damage instead. So, again, I think if you're discovering this from something, it's cool, but you probably won't run this in your deck. Unless you're making some other heal priest where you want everything anti-aggro, everything heals, and so on and so forth. I don't know. Unless you're doing that, I don't see it seeing much play. Like, I don't see it working in any decks. Now, however, we're going to look at something that will definitely work in many decks. The Dragonfire Potion. This is basically the new Light Bomb. 6 mana, deal 5 damage to all minions except dragons. Wow. The Dragon Priests, man. They're going to make a comeback in this expansion, something fierce. This is awesome. 5 damage to all minions except dragons. 6 mana. That's a lot. 5 is generally enough to wipe the entire board. Generally. Not always. Generally. And it doesn't even damage dragons. So your minions will survive. So it's kind of like Light Bomb. In many regards. And it's a potion, so you can discover it. That's cool. Next is the Mana Geode. That was the first epic. This is the second epic. 2 mana, 2/3. Whenever this minion is healed, summon a 2/2 crystal. I really like this. I think this is an awesome early game tool for priests to deal with aggro. Like if you attack into something, you kill it, you heal this up. Yeah, it's great. Really good. I think this is quite nice. One of the better cards, definitely. I think Priest got so many good tools. Blizzard definitely did a lot for Priest. Didn't do so much for Rogues. Or well, some of the other classes, I guess. Mostly Rogues that didn't get anything. But Priest definitely got a lot. This is awesome. This is a nice card. It's cheap, so it can synergize with other things quite easily, I guess. I suppose it's susceptible to other things as well. Like Shadow and Pain and all that. But yeah, it's nice. Not going to work in the Dragon Priest deck so well. You'd rather run something like the Netherwhelp or whatever. The Wormrest Agent, stuff like that. Netherspite Historian. A lot of different cards you could run on 1 and 2. But this is a good card. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, just generating a 2/2 from your heal, your hero power, is awesome. But then you could also use it with things like Circle of Healing. You know, you could use it with Wild Pyromancer to make many copies of this. And so on and so forth. Then the final priest card, the legendary Raza the Chained, 5 mana, 5/5, Battlecry. If your deck has no duplicates, your hero power costs 0 this game. Another Reno card. We call them Reno cards because Reno was the first to work like this, and Reno is the strongest in this type of deck because he heals you up to full. This is awesome. This is great for Reno Dragon Priest or something like that. I don't know, would Reno Dragon Priest work? Or just a Reno Priest in general. This is a good card. Your hero power costs 0 for the entire game, no matter what you do with it. So maybe Shadow Priest would want to use this as well, because Shadow Form can make it, you know, work like that. You could use that legendary Auction Master Beardo, I suppose, to refresh your hero power multiple times and then use it multiple times. Just got True Heart does the same kind of thing, like it helps with this as well. 0 mana, 4 health heal is pretty good. This is a good legend. This is one of the better legendaries again. This is a good legend. I like this legendary. I would definitely use this in any priest decks where it would fit. Now, the final class, also Cabal. This is Warlock. First card is the Abyssal Enforcer. 7 mana, 6/6. Battlecry, deal 3 damage to all other characters. That's just super strong. That's a really good card. That's going to be in every single Reno Warlock ever. And Reno Lock was already pretty strong. I mean, it sort of fell out of favor recently, but I think it'll make a comeback with the cards that this expansion is offering. Kazakus, the other Cabal cards, this, and I suppose you'll see a few others coming up. This is just a strong card, just as a one-off. It's a good board clear. 7 mana for a 6/6 is not terrible either. Good card. Good card. Next is Blast Crystal Potion, 4 mana. This is destroy a minion and one of your mana crystals. I think this is very good as a one-off in a deck because in the late game, you just destroy a minion. Bam. Dead. It's a potion. You can discover it from a Cabal Courier, I suppose. And no, not Cabal Courier, the other one that discovers the potions. But I mean, 4 mana to destroy a minion's good, and in the late game, if you're on turn 9, you don't mind destroying a crystal, you know? And you go down to 9, your turn starts, you go back up to 10. Who even cares? Only in the early game does it matter. So I think this is really good. It'll definitely see play. Maybe as a one-off, maybe more. Who knows? Who knows? I just gave Nero a pat because he's standing next to me and he wants food. It's cool, dude. We're nearly done. Next, we have the Crystal Weaver. 4 mana. Battlecry, give your demons +1/+1. This is 4 mana for a 5/4. I mean, this would probably work in a zoo lock, right? A Demon Zoo? Demon Zoo sort of went out of favor and out of popularity because of, was it Voidcaller? Yeah, that cycled out. So, you know, it's good. 4 mana for a 5/4 is not terrible. Like we saw Genzo the Shark or whatever in a similar stat position, which is a legendary though. And this gives all your demons +1/+1. You need a few demons out for this to be good though. So I mean, it's good, but it's a little nichey. Next we have a Warlock Murloc. 4 mana, 4/2, the Sea Devil Stinger. Battlecry, the next Murloc you play this turn costs health instead of mana. I don't think this is very good because I don't think Warlocks are going to be playing Murloc decks. I just don't think so. I don't know. The next Murloc you play, you need to play Murloc. You can't play... It's not the next minion you play, it's the next Murloc you play. So, I don't know. Do you guys think they're going to be Warlock Murloc decks? Maybe. I suppose there are some other Warlock Murlocs, but nah. I just don't see it working. I don't see it being that good. Next, Foul Fire Potion. 6 mana, deal 5 damage to all characters. That is a suicide potion. But it's a potion nonetheless. Again, you can discover it. 6 mana to deal 5 to everything. It could work as a one-off again in a Reno lock deck. Yeah, you run Kazakus in there, you run this, you run Reno, you run a whole bunch of other board clears like Hellfire, Shadow Flame, and so on and so forth. I suppose it's okay. It's okay. Next rare, the Blood Fury Potion. 3 mana, give a minion 3 attack. If it's a demon, also give it 3 health. 3 mana for a 3/3 buff is not terrible, but I think in many situations, you'd rather play 3 mana for a 3/3 minion, right? Like 3 mana for a 3/3 minion with a Battlecry. There are lots of minions out there like that. Imagine comparing this to Earthen Ring Farseer. That's 3 mana for a 3/3 that heals for 3. I don't know. I mean, this is okay, but I don't think it's that good. It's a potion again. Next, the Unlicensed Apothecary. 3 mana for a 5/5. Whenever you summon a minion, deal 5 damage to your hero. That's pretty bad. I mean, you play this, I guess, with the intent of winning the game real soon, or trading it into something else real soon, and having it die off. Because on turn 3, 5/5 is awesome, but 5 damage to your hero will add up real quick. Like, real quick. Maybe again in a Reno deck it could work, but then you're also dealing damage to yourself with things like Hellfire or that Fellfire Potion. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know if it's really good. I don't think it's good. I think it's too negative to be a positive. Next, Cabal Trafficker. This is another epic. 6 mana for a 6/6. At the end of your turn, add a random demon to your hand. This is pretty good. This will definitely be played in Reno decks, I'd say. Or in other Warlocks, I suppose. Because you could get any demon. You could get damn Jaraxxus, you know? You could get the legendary we're about to look at. And 6 mana for 6/6 is not bad. It's comparable to the Infernal, you know? That 6 mana for a 6/6 deals 1 damage to everything. Yeah, I think this is good. I think it's pretty good. And it's at the end of your turn, so it could double up. You could get more than 1 if it survives the turn. So yeah, not bad. Pretty good card. Then, the final card we're looking at. The Warlock Legendary, Cruel the Unshackled. 9 mana for a 7/9. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, summon all the demons from your hand. That's pretty awesome. That's, again, Reno synergy. This whole set, so many cards that synergize with Reno, and again with like Kazakus. That's so good. Again, this will work so nicely in that deck. And it's a Battlecry, so you play this, you'll be playing a lot of other demons if you have a lot of other demons in your hand. So, I mean, other demons that we got here now, you could summon the Abyssal Enforcer without its negative Battlecry. That's a thing. That could happen. Warlock have some good legendary, some good demons you could play. And if you're playing a Reno Lock style deck, I mean, maybe there's a lesser chance. Maybe you play a demon Reno Lock. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And the artwork is cool. The card itself is an interesting idea. I'm a big fan of all the Reno type cards that they added in this whole set. But that's it. I am done. That's every single card from the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. I'm super keen to just play the game now. I just want to play. That's it. I want to play the game, and I want to enjoy it. And I will. I will no doubt enjoy it. So my card pack opening videos are coming next. Hope you guys enjoy those. Let me know what you think about the cards. Let me know what you think about all the different cards that we get in. Which class was best off? Which class do you think won? And which class is the biggest winner? Which class is the biggest loser? In my opinion, Priest is the biggest winner, and Rogue is probably the biggest loser. Probably. I don't think there's going to be much going for Rogue after this, like much new. Jade Rogue seems like it could be okay, I guess. And Miracle Rogue got some interesting tools, but like some of the big, what I would say is meant to be power cards, aren't really that great. So yeah, I mean, I like it. I like most of what I've seen. Warriors got some cool stuff. Pirate decks in general got some cool stuff. I'm a big fan. I can't wait to play around with all this stuff. I love the families as well. That's going to be a lot of fun too. Anyway, I'm done. Check back soon for more. Like I said, those card pack opening videos, going to be a lot of them coming up. Give us one a like, share it, and do all that good stuff. Multi-body though. Happy reviewing all the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan cards. Happy that.